content over everything.
Okay, so just say your premise, and then so we understand what it's about.
Are we ready now?
Okay, go ahead.
So, I presented, due to great misunderstandings of our brothers,
Yes.
and other words that would try to mislead people in regards to the accuracy of my speech.
Yes.
Which is, when I talk about a religion and an ideology called Sunniism, I by no means do not mean Sunni versus Shia.
Right.
I mean specifically Sunniism as it stands as an imposter ideology,
Right.
pretending to be Islam, and is majorly anti-black.
Right.
Has nothing to do with Shia.
Right.
So for instance, when anyone mentions Pakistani Shias, Brother Riza for instance,
Yes.
he does not have 1,200 years of enslavement by Sunnis of Pakistanis. He has a theological difference. If he leaves Shiism, there's no issue.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
If I was to become a black Sunni,
Yes.
I'd still be like these others.
Right.
Coons, Sunni coons. Simple. Do you understand my point?
I hear you.
So regardless of the point, regardless of what people want to try and make it out to be, Sunni versus Shia, it's not Sunni versus Shia. If I mention Sunni,
Right.
I'm talking about an ideology,
Yes.
a political ideology of conquest
Yes.
that is anti-black and has been
Okay.
since 1,200 years ago and continuing,
Right.
to which black people are deceived and convert to feel black empowered.
Okay. So, but bring this to the Malcolm X argument.
Yes.
Okay, so the point was, Isa, the black Tellect, made a statement to try and help black people understand the problem. Brothers, now they're putting me off, I like to focus, but okay. So, in my examination of how we got here,
Yeah.
how could Afro-Americans,
Yeah.
as they're called, black Afro-Americans, black Afro-Caribbean, black Afro-British,
Yes.
rush to this religion after leaving so-called slave Christianity?
Yes.
How could we then rush to Sunniism that has been anti-black for 1,200 years
Right.
and claim this is a black liberation theology, ideology, and religion?
Right.
So when we look in the history of this ideology, we find Malcolm X as a key major figure
Right.
in promoting and legitimatizing this anti-black, ridiculous, barbaric, and savage ideology called Sunniism, hiding under the guise the guise of a religion known as Islam.
Right. So the question that you're asking is, repeat the question. Sorry.
Is Malcolm X
Yes.
the leader of the, what was the text? The leader of the modern day anti-black Sunni Coonism?
Right.
Is Malcolm X the
Yes.
leader
Yes.
of the modern day anti-black Sunni Coonism?
I think that's how you use as father, but yeah.
No, leader.
Leader. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
All right. Cool. So what I'm suggesting, Mr. Moderator, is that man brings his premise.
Yes.
I need to understand his premise to be able to speak to it. Yeah.
I mean, a summary.
No. Yeah. Just bring your. So bring.
No, that's my premise already. The premise.
Yeah. All right.
this
So
is my
bring your
structure.
argument then. So bring your argument then. Lay it out, and then man can respond to it.
So this is what I promoted
Yeah.
and tried to get Brother Leon on over a year ago. We debating some basic thing.
Yes.
Number one, you state your claim, which is your premise.
Yes.
Number two, you produce your evidence,
Right.
which you intend to use to prove your premise.
Yep.
Number three,
Yep.
you demonstrate how
Yep.
your evidence
And that's what we're gonna do.
proves your claim to
That's
be
what we're
true.
gonna do, yes.
Simple and plain.
So you got the premise. The
So
premise
this is the
yours.
brother to do it with,
Yes.
and this brother here, you know, who's moderating, etc.
Yes.
Because we've got intelligent brother here,
Yes.
who is strong and brave
Yes.
to come against Isa, the black Tellect,
Of course.
which I admire him for.
Of course.
So,
Of course.
give him a hand. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
So my point is, here we have a brother, Malcolm X,
Yes.
who we love and respect, especially as black people.
I'm glad you love him.
Love and respect him
Yes.
as a person,
Yes.
and honor his sincerity.
Yes.
But as we know, we're all human beings and we make errors.
Mm.
If those errors have become something that cause ripple effects of damage in our community, we have to point them out.
Yes.
Okay. So now we have a brother Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Grew up excuse me. No, big up Malcolm still. A brother who we know what he went through. He then joined the Nation of Islam when he went to prison.
Yes.
He then became the major spokesperson, spitting whatever he believed Elijah Muhammad wanted him to teach. He was thoroughly indoctrinated, whether himself or by others, into the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, believing Elijah Muhammad was a prophet, not
No.
just
Sorry.
a prophet and messenger. That's fine. You want to interject?
No. I don't want to interject. But yeah, go on.
Okay, a prophet and messenger, as he believed, like Muslims believe Prophet Muhammad is a messenger and prophet, like Jesus believed, so Christians believe Jesus is etc. and Moses. This is his own claim in the autobiography. What we have here is he has a difference. He has an issue with the private life of Elijah Muhammad, which is that apparently Elijah Muhammad had got certain young ladies, his secretaries, pregnant, which wasn't the main issue. Malcolm's main issue was that he had pretended it was something he's distancing himself from, and shaming and punishing those women. That was his main issue, which you would find is something just. Because Malcolm himself is saying, if you told the people I've got extra wives, I'm fulfilling prophecy, they probably would have believed it and accepted it because we all saw you as this great prophet. You understand? Here's where the issue comes. When Brother Malcolm X leaves the Nation of Islam, he decides to go to some place called Mecca, which originally was a holy land until the stinking Sunni rats took it over. Okay? Simple as that. Oh, yes, it was. Malcolm X turned to the anti-black white media. Did he or did he not? And revealed to them what go on with Elijah Muhammad. True or false? Did he not speak?
But that's a historical fact, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure.
So with that, I will leave that as a little introduction for my brother here to attempt to refute the basic premise of Isa the Black Tellect. Thank you very much.
All right, so I'm only going to respond to exactly what you just said.
Okay.
I'm not going to go into anything else. Yeah, I'll hear more of your argument before I go into anything else.
Okay.
The first thing is that I wanted to correct the idea of prophet versus messenger. The Nation of Islam consider Elijah Muhammad to be the messenger of Allah, not a prophet. Yeah.
Oh, really?
And they make that distinction because there's an interview with Malcolm X. And I can't remember who he's talking to, but they question him about this, yeah. And he says he's never heard anybody refer to Elijah Muhammad as a prophet. He's the messenger of Allah, yeah. Now it's a minor distinction, but it's a distinction because it's important in relation to the dynamics of the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? It's a significant one.
Let me just come back on that.
Yeah.
It is very clear
Yeah.
that the majority of the time when referring to him,
Yes.
they call him messenger of Allah.
Yes.
They also call him prophet. Now, because
If you find me evidence,
this is what I'm saying. Because I didn't know this would be a contention.
No, yeah, it's not a big deal.
But okay.
I'm not even going to say it's not beyond the pale of possibility.
Let's do
that
what we
somebody,
agree with.
Yeah, but I'm saying
We agree with messenger.
Yeah,
There you go.
right, yeah, that's cool. All right.
And let's say he saw that messenger
Yes.
as a messenger from Allah. Speak, in other words.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
They see Elijah
As long as you roll with
Muhammad.
that.
They see Elijah Muhammad as divine, and today, in fact, under the leadership of Minister Farrakhan, they consider Elijah Muhammad to be the exalted Christ. Yeah.
Okay.
And
There you go.
Right. So now, in relation to what happened that caused the split between Wale Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad.
Can you explain that term to the people?
Yeah, I will. Maybe later on, yeah. But just to say for now that when he went to Africa, he took on the name Wale, yeah, which is a Yoruba name and it means the son who has returned. Okay.
Right.
Yes, the issue to do with Elijah Muhammad and wives was an issue,
Right.
yeah. And there's a lot of issues around that. That issue came about though in a broader context of Malcolm X having other issues. One, with the lack of political engagement of the Nation of Islam.
That's right.
Two, with the corruption in the leadership of the Nation of Islam.
That's right. And jealousy.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, all these kinds of things. Yeah, and so being a man of principle, he was looking out against these things, and in that environment, this issue of Elijah Muhammad and these young women came up. Yeah, and so all of these things have to be factored in if we're talking about his split with the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
That's not really the issue, though.
no,
That's
what I'm
not
saying,
my issue that I'm presenting.
I'm not saying that that's your issue.
Okay.
But I'm saying that I'm just making it clear that the split had to do with more than just Elijah Muhammad and the women. Yeah, there were other issues going on. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I'm saying what he spoke into the camera
Yes.
and he said to the white media
But he said.
was this major thing here.
No, yeah.
And he said
Yes.
the real reason
Yes.
why I left the Nation of Islam,
Yes.
and then goes on to talk about that what I just said.
In the book
understand?
that you're holding right now, he
Yeah.
actually says, "I didn't leave. I was put out."
I know.
Right? You know
But
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Bro, the book can say what it wants.
Yeah, no, but that's Malcolm's words though. So
No. But I'm saying we have him recorded.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
But we also have him documented saying what I'm saying at the moment. So I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying, hear what I'm saying? I'm saying that in addition to what you're saying, these other issues factored into why he why he was eventually, you know what I'm saying, separated from the nation.
Okay.
Right? That's a fact. Yeah. Now he got so you go on to
How
say
does that relate to Sunni Kun? Because my point was, where I stopped was...
It does relate, and I'll tell you why.
Brilliant.
Because we have to factor that in because of some of the propaganda that suggests that one of the reasons why Malcolm X left is because he wanted to pursue Orthodox Islam, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Or
That's not my...
and that's not your intention. Or that when he left, and also it factors into the work that he actually did. And the direction that he was pursuing when he separated from the Nation of Islam. Okay. So we have to factor those things in to understand what he did afterwards.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So he goes to Mecca and he has this experience. Yeah. And you'll be correct to say that there has been a focus on some of his pronouncements. And I say some of his pronouncements when he came back from Mecca, and the idea that he was moving towards Sunni Islam. This is a fact, yeah. And I have no doubt that would have inspired many brothers and sisters to look into Sunni Islam. In reality, however, that dynamic predates Malcolm X. It even predates Elijah Muhammad, because and one of the first movements for Islam among black people in America was the Moorish Science Temple under Noble Drew Ali.
Yeah.
As far as Islam is concerned, even in the Garvey movement, there were many people that were...
Drews Ali, yep. Drews Ali.
No, I'm talking about in the UNIA, Marcus Garvey's organization.
That's Drews Ali. D-U-S...
Deuce Muhammad Ali, I think you say, right, yeah. Well, yes, yeah.
Major.
Right, yeah,
Major.
right, you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that this affinity towards Islam as a black religion predates Malcolm X.
Totally agree.
Significantly, yeah? And so, in a sense, he may have inspired another generation of it, maybe, to some degree. But I challenge the idea that he is the leader.
Main leader.
Yeah. I challenge that idea because I'm gonna state that my premise is that dynamic is driven by propaganda more than the example of Malcolm X himself.
Brilliant. So that's why Isa the Black Tellect brings proof. So we can hear and read what Malcolm X himself has to say.
Yes, sir.
So, in relation to the split, I'm dealing with his words.
Yes, sir.
What began to break my faith was that try as I might, I couldn't hide. I couldn't evade.
Yes.
That Mr. Muhammad, instead of facing what he had done before his followers as a human weakness or as fulfillment of prophecy, which I sincerely believe that Muslims would have understood, or at least they would have accepted, Mr. Muhammad had instead been willing to hide to cover up what he had done. So I am referring to what he says in relation to, for instance, if he thought the leadership was bad, they were corrupt. He now, as long as he had that link to Elijah Muhammad and had faith in him, he might have felt he could have sorted that somehow.
I'd agree with that to Elijah said.
So the main thing was, this man, who he saw as a messenger of Allah, who he keeps saying he would have gave his life for.
Without a doubt.
This is what broke him. He couldn't believe it. And this is something I can directly relate to myself.
I hear you.
So again, I don't diss my brother for this. In fact, he's a perfect example of me and a lot of black brothers' journey. My drawing attention is to things like this brother, Malcolm, when he went to Mecca.
Yes.
And the unfortunate experiences he had. And the most unfortunate thing is what he writes and how he writes it.
Yes.
Which is where the term, the Isa, the great black intellectual Muslim, gets Sunni Coonism.
Yes.
Would you agree that while in the Nation of Islam, you had the concept of the black man is God.
Yes.
And therefore the black man is the creator of all else.
The maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth.
And that he has so many years of, anyway.
Yes.
That basically, the black man is the source of religion and ideas and civilization.
Yes.
Would you agree that when you go to Mecca, after coming and feeling betrayed by this group and this leader who taught you this, that there could be a rebound kind of issue where you're not only just left them, but they want to kill you and are willing to kill your family? So you feel a sense of refuge when you go to Mecca, where you're on a spiritual high and other people are on a spiritual high. Would you agree, my brother?
It's possible, yeah.
Well, this is what he's saying.
But
Would you agree that this is no state to be writing about the situation of an ideology as to whether it's anti-black or not? Meaning, if the people he met in Mecca, who were white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, came from Russia, came from here, came from there, and the very same people he was with, the mulatto Arabs, in the Hajj, and as a special individual, an honor of the state, he's going to be treated differently. Now, if they've come there for Hajj, they're not going to be racist to you in Hajj. Never mind he was very light-skinned. But do you agree that Saudi Arabia only abolished slavery in the I think it was 1980?
Yes.
Do you agree Malcolm X went to Hajj before that?
Yes.
So the enslavement of black people was totally legal in the time of Malcolm X?
Definitely.
So would you agree that in Malcolm X's letter, he not once mentions the mistreatment and slavery of black people by these pagan Sunnis?
He doesn't mention it at all.
He doesn't mention it at all.
No.
So would you agree it wouldn't be wise to try and advertise this dumb pagan religion as something for black people to go in when the institutional structure of Sunnism in Saudi Arabia is having black people mistreated, raped and abused as a norm? Thank you very much. But it's really damn right, not just that, watch this. The color blindness of the Muslim world's religious society and the color blindness of the Muslim world's human society, these two influences had each days in making greater impact and increasing persuasion against my previous way of thinking. Do you agree at the same time the anti-black slavery that was continuing in Sudan, in Mauritania?
Most definitely.
Thank you very much.
In Algeria.
So would you agree that statement there is absolute garbage?
Of course, it's incorrect. It's incorrect.
Now, I love my brother Malcolm X,
Yeah.
but the point I'm making specifically
Yes.
is how these words have affected the minds of black people.
Yes.
Coming from someone as Malcolm X.
Oh, yes.
If brother Malcolm X
Yes.
had converted to Sunni pagan dunceism
Yes.
and rolled as a Sunni and started chatting that nonsense, it wouldn't have had that impact on black people, would it?
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But because he was the spokesbrother for the Nation of Islam,
Yes.
Black Power Malcolm X, then converted.
Yes.
Now people are joining in, as you see dumb Sunni pagans today, opposing Nation of Islam. True or false?
True.
Do you agree the black Sunnis are more vehement against the Nation of Islam?
No.
You don't?
I
Then
believe
who?
They can be, but I know many black Sunnis that are sympathetic and even warm to the nation.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, then who?
Than a lot of the rest of the Muslim world. And the people
I'm
that
talking about here, sorry.
Yeah, no. The people that the Sunnis that I know that are warmest to the Nation of Islam are black Sunnis. Yeah. That's my experience.
I don't get your point. I'm saying to you,
I'm answering your question.
no, when you say you know, all right,
Yeah.
can you give a more broader explanation from your perspective,
Well, I'm
or is it
saying that
just you personally know 20 people?
I know, for example, black Sunnis who were members of the Nation of Islam,
Right.
who still are brothers and sisters of the
Right,
Nation of
right,
Islam,
right.
Or I know black Sunnis who are close personal friends,
Right.
with Minister Farrakhan,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I believe Uncle Danjuma has met Minister Farrakhan. You know? I'm not even.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but definitely people that he's associated with.
Okay, but he's a
High-
Pan-Africanist.
But that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm
No.
saying we can't make. I'm saying whatever description. Like I don't know that all these Sunnis are Pan-Africanists. I don't know that. I
I'm
can't make
talking
that.
about Dan Juma.
Yeah, no, he is.
Yeah.
I'm saying. Of all the people that I'm talking about that I've seen, I can't say that all of them are Pan-Africanists.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. But if they are Pan-Africanists, that would seem to go against your argument.
How?
If one can be a Sunni and Pan-African.
But this is my point.
Yeah.
You can hold on to a cultural identity thing and not hold on to the religion. Do you get me? In other words, you can pick and choose, which is what a lot of people done in West Africa. Did you know the West African school of Sunni thought said that because the black woman is not as attractive as other women, her dowry has to be less? Did you know that?
Yeah, I've heard that before.
And then they said, okay, we'll just move that bit out and carry on with the rest.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound retarded to you?
Of course it's retarded.
Thank you.
Right,
but then
what
a whole
is
heap
that?
of West Africans are following that school of thought.
Yeah.
From that same idiot.
Okay,
You
go
get my
on.
point?
Yeah, finish
But
up,
anyway,
finish up.
where was I?
Okay. Yeah, you've read
No,
the
I'm
quote.
saying, so the Sunnis, okay, fair enough. You haven't been in the experience I've had.
Yes.
So I've been among the Sunnis.
Yes.
Even here you hear them calling the Kafirs, Mushriks, all of these vehement names,
Yes.
and it's something predominant.
Right.
So for instance, I've witnessed where Pakistani elders
Yes.
are like, brother, they're Muslim. They say, no, they worship Elijah Muhammad. They're saying, well, give them dawah and so on. But I'm saying in my experience, as being Muslim for time and been around Sunnis and
Yes.
various different types of Sunnis,
Yes.
they've been the most vehement.
Right.
And I'm saying they're following on
Black
this
Sunnis,
path.
yeah, black Sunnis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I'm saying it's
All right.
natural for me
Yeah.
to expect
No,
others to say that.
I'm not saying that what you're saying doesn't exist. I'm saying that.
I'm saying predominantly.
They haven't been the most vehement as in my experience. But that's
Okay. But
Go
then
on.
let's be fair and say I've been around them more than you do.
Possibly.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Brother, did you used to go to the masjid every day?
No. I meant. Sorry, I thought you meant the Nation of Islam. But
No,
go on.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
because I've been around Sunnis.
All right.
Black
yeah.
Sunnis.
No, yeah.
In different mosques. They're
To be
vehement
clear,
people.
I'm not saying that I don't have. I'm not saying that I don't understand what you're saying. I have experienced exactly what you're talking about.
I'm saying predominantly.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I would say
I know.
90%
No.
of black Sunnis.
Well, the only thing I'm questioning is if they're the most vociferous or not. I know some black Sunnis who are anti-Nation of Islam,
Right.
but I wouldn't put them as the most vociferous against them in terms of all the Muslims that I've been able to observe. That's my interpretation.
All right. Well, let me not argue that little point.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
compared to- Ooh, okay. Let's see. America
Yeah.
needs to understand,
Yes.
he says Islam, but Sunniism, because that's all he knew, really. Because this is the one religion
Yes.
that erases from its society the race problem.
Uh-huh.
What he's writing this letter while in Saudi Arabia, slavery is legal.
Yes.
So we're talking about white supremacy over here,
Yes.
where he's come from.
Yes.
But either he didn't know or he's ignoring.
Yes.
Now, based upon what I believe about Malcolm X,
Yes.
they hid that from him quick. They might have got the so-called slave and dressed him up nicely. Here you go, brother. Here's another dark
Right,
skin for you.
exactly.
I'm just saying.
Man, just for the people at home.
Yeah.
Are you saying that the slavery that was practiced in Saudi at the time there was a dynamic of Arabs enslaving non-Arabs and non-blacks, blacks and so forth? Is that-
Just like it is now.
Okay, so that's what you're saying for the people at home.
Yeah,
Sorry, say that again.
It's necessary to clarify
Yeah,
because
you
you
have
said
to.
because you said Sunnis. So it's necessary to clarify that we're talking about Arabic people that are enslaving African people.
Okay.
In-
The reason
in
I'm
Arabia.
saying
Yeah.
Arabia
Yes.
is because
No,
his
it
words,
was Arabia. You're
No, no,
correct.
no.
Yes.
What I'm saying is,
Yes.
if there were Sunnis in Iraq, it's the same thing.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying? If there
yeah.
are Arabs in Iraq
Yeah.
and are Sunnis, it's the same. Because the word Abd in Iraq
Yeah.
under Saddam Hussein and these other Sunnis
Yeah.
was the term for black people.
Yeah.
You know that, right? Which means slaves.
Yeah.
So instead of saying a black man, they were saying Abd, a slave.
So the majority of slaves were saying in Saudi Arabia at that time when Malcolm X was on Hajj.
Yeah.
was
I'm not even saying, even though I would
No,
say
but
the majority,
I believe you're correct on that.
No, but
Yeah.
what my point is that as a pro-black man
Yeah.
leaving this and talking about white supremacy,
Yes.
I'm saying once you see black people mistreated, even if you see white and other people, I'm saying you as a pro-black man,
But you're saying
that'd be something you say, what in that going
But
on?
you're saying that he
got-
probably would have known.
I personally think,
Right.
because I can't imagine all of what I know of Malcolm,
Right.
that he would have seen them kicking a black man and
Right.
here to
And not spoken about.
and,
Yeah, I can't
and
see
him
it
had just
happening.
come
Can't
back
see it
and say, you know what, this is the best religion.
Right.
Yeah.
All I'm basically saying is,
Yes.
when we read these words,
Yes.
it can entice man to think,
Yes.
oh, this brother who we love and da,
Yes.
he's found the truth.
Yes.
Because of who he was,
Yes.
this is my stepping stone following him
Yes.
into this thing
Yes.
as the savior ideology for the black man.
Right. Okay.
So this is my point. It seems like you agree with me anyway. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Right?
We got little disagreement so far.
Okay.
You've heard the quotes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe how you describe certain things.
Yeah.
Like what? Give me.
No, when you finish, I'll give my
No, I
answer.
hear it.
I'll give my answer. Yeah.
No. Okay. Each hour here in the
Yes.
Holy Land, I can't see any land that has an institution of enslaving black people as holy at that time.
So
Enables
you
me.
don't consider Mecca to be the Holy Land,
I
even as being corrupted. But you're.
No, bruv, listen
But
what
you're
I'm saying.
not consider Mecca to be the Holy Land.
How can a land be holy
Yes.
when black people are being kicked around?
No, I agree, but it's like, say, for me, like,
I hear you.
Africa is colonized. It's still sacred land to me. This is what I'm saying. So,
I hear what you're saying.
you know what I mean?
But I can't separate
Yeah.
the fact that this land here,
Yes.
if you want to say holy land in that sense.
Right. That's
But
what I think it means.
No.
Mecca is the holy land for Muslims.
Right. And
So-
I'm saying to you, if I was standing there and watching somebody get whipped
Yes,
and raped,
yes.
I could never describe that land as holy after witnessing
Point
that.
taken.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Point taken.
I can't see that and say,
Point taken.
this is the holy land after that thing.
We're both questioning whether he would have seen those things. So, read
No.
on.
But what I'm saying is he the leader of this thing?
Right, no, yeah,
so
go
when you
ahead.
write back a letter, Amanda Messi, oh,
Say
this place is
yeah.
wicked, yeah?
All right, go ahead.
Right, hold on.
Yeah.
It looks like you just love hearing it. He loves hearing the Malcolm preach.
Yeah, man, I love it, man. I love it. Marcus, my guy. You
To
know.
have greater spiritual insights
Yes.
into what is happening in America. Let me repeat that. Each hour here in the Holy Land enables me to have greater spiritual insights
Yes.
into what is happening in America
Yes.
between black and white.
Yes.
The American Negro never can be blamed for his racial animosities.
Yes.
He's only reacting to 400 years
Yes.
of the conscious racism of the American whites.
Yes.
So likewise,
Yes.
Isa the black intellectual Muslim
Yes.
can never be blamed
Yes.
for his racial
That's right.
animosity.
That's right.
His anti-Sunni
That's right, Isa.
animosity.
Yes.
He is only reacting
That's right.
to 1,200 goddamn
Hallelujah.
years of anti-black
Praise the Lord.
Devilism
That's right.
from the dumb pagan Sunni.
That's right.
That's it.
That's
Just
right.
like Malcolm said,
Yes, sir. Yes,
we're
sir.
reacting
I hear you, bro.
as black people
I hear you.
to white racism of 400 years.
I hear you. I hear you.
So the black Tellect
I
is
hear you.
reacting to
Yes, yes,
1,200 years and continuing
Yes.
of anti-blackism
Yes.
from Sunni pagan stinking Kaffirites. It's a simple thing.
Yes, sir.
That's
yes.
right.
Very simple. Right.
Please respond anyway. Come on.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So, what you've read is correct. I'm not going to challenge anything that you've read.
you
Yeah.
very much.
I'm also not going to challenge the idea that that when Malcolm X went to Mecca, there were Africans being enslaved in Saudi Arabia. This is a fact. There were Africans being enslaved in Algeria. Fact.
Muslim world, yeah.
In the Muslim world in general.
Sunni
right?
world, sorry, Sunni world. Yeah.
I'm going to say the Muslim world.
Well,
right?
you can't prove that of any
You get me?
so-called
I
Shia land.
I can prove it.
You cannot
I can
prove
prove
any
it.
Shia
I can
ruled
prove it.
world
Is
where they
Iran
had that.
is Iran Shia?
Yes, you can.
Is
It's
Iran
only been
Shia?
for
Yes,
yeah.
you
Go
can.
on. Yes.
Have you ever heard of the Karaj dynasty?
Yes.
Oh.
And how long was that? When was that?
Well, they started in the 1700s, I believe, and went right up until 1925.
Right. Do
Yeah.
you know who they were?
Who were they?
Okay. So the Shias began 500 years. You know, it was a Sunni
500
nation.
years ago.
It was a Sunni nation till about 500 years ago.
Yeah, and
Yes?
I said 1700s
Well, I heard
up
you,
until
brother.
yeah.
And I'm saying
Yeah.
it has been like an ongoing battle where the Safavids,
Yes.
when
So
they
you're
conquered.
going to say there's context.
What-
There's context to everything.
Yeah.
So
no.
let me
What my,
get
brother,
yeah.
what my point is,
Yes.
is that you can't show me
Yes.
a liberated, independent
Yes.
Muslim so-called Shia nation. You can only show me where so-called Shias are trying to maintain power because Sunnis all around them are trying to eliminate them.
All right.
Do you understand?
I'm not going to. I'm
you get my
not
point?
going to debate that. What I'm
Okay.
saying is, I don't think it's as blanket as if it's under Sunni, we're oppressed, and if it's not under Sunni, we're not oppressed. I don't think it's that blanket
Well,
as far as black people are concerned. However, what I want to do
Okay.
is give the context for what you're reading there,
Yeah.
and in terms of Malcolm X, yeah, and maybe add some stuff to it. Right. So, it is a fact, yeah, that Africans were being enslaved in Saudi Arabia during that time.
Yeah.
It is also a fact that Malcolm X was the guest, the official guest
State.
of Prince Faisal,
That's right.
who later became the king,
Yeah.
yeah, at that time. So he was basically rolling with the elite, right? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that he wouldn't have seen. He would have only seen what they wanted him to see. It's also true that one of the people that I'll come back to that point, right? It's also true. It's also a fact that trip to Mecca
Yep.
in 1964 was not the first time Malcolm X had been to Saudi Arabia. Yeah? So a lot of the stuff that he's writing in this letter, he knew already in 1959 when he first went to Arabia. He didn't go to Mecca because one of the things he was trying to do when he was there was arrange for Elijah Muhammad to make the pilgrimage.
Yep.
He didn't think he should be the first person
Right,
to
right,
make
to make the pilgrimage.
to step into Mecca. So he had seen white people going in and out of Mecca in 1959. He knew all this stuff already.
Yeah,
You
I
know what
agree.
I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right. So there's a context to that we have to put into what was taking place at that time. yeah. And one of the I'd say it's a reasonable speculation or a logical deduction, is that Malcolm X was a master of media, right?
I was just about to say this.
Right, and he writes, he writes this letter challenging a lot of the things that he was saying for two reasons. One, he knows that when he gets back to America, there's going to be a media presence to await him. He can say certain things. The second thing is that he's now moving towards, and it's demonstrable by statements that he made afterwards, that he wants to collaborate with the civil rights organizations more in terms of forwarding a black agenda. And but they've historically been always taking a step back from him and the nation because of the fiery rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the idea is that yes, we can look at it in terms of the religious euphoria that one experiences, yeah, in that environment. And I believe that anybody is susceptible to an experience challenging your better held beliefs, assumptions, and these kinds of things. Yeah. If the experience is intense enough, we're all susceptible to that. Yeah. But the question is, does that letter, those statements, and the idea of religion wiping out racism define his actions following that point? That's the question that we have to ask. If, in order to substantiate the idea that he is the leader of Black Sunni Coonism, the main modern day leader, yes, of Black Sunni Coonism, we have to substantiate the idea that he was leading people down Black Sunni Coonism, right? So did you highlight the part, for example, where he speaks about being in Mecca, you know, and noticing that the black people still kind of congregate around black people, and the white people still kind of congregate around white people? It just so happens that there's not conflict in that dynamic. But naturally speaking, people that are alike tend to relate to each other a certain way.
Let me explain that. The majority of the situation there
yes.
would be people that speak similar languages.
Yes.
So you generally have a leader for the Hajj.
Yes.
Because it's an easy thing, you don't know what you're doing.
Yes, yes.
So you need somebody or a few people to show you what.
Yes, yes.
So it makes sense that if you speak either the same language or similar languages.
No, but I hear what you're saying. I'm saying that in Mecca, he's still identifying a black communal energy and admiring it. Okay. In Hajj. He says it in the thing, and if I could find it for you.
That's my whole point.
Yeah.
Is that by admiring this thing,
yes,
it doesn't make any sense, because
why?
The same black Sunnis
yes.
will come and do their Hajj
yes.
and enslave other blacks where they're from.
All right, no,
and be
I'm
selling
not denying that. Here I'm saying.
You get me?
But here I'm saying. I'm trying to. So, okay, let's get to the point. Malcolm X said what he said.
Right.
He also said a lot of other things other than this that are not marketed, that are not promoted, and that are not as popular as those words, right?
So give me
so I'm
something.
I'm saying that who is responsible for projecting Islam as this colorblind religion, yeah, for black people to be able to embrace and go into, is not Malcolm X, but the people that tried to co-opt his legacy following his assassination. Let me clarify what I'm saying. Okay. There's two groups of people that tried to co-opt Malcolm X's legacy, yeah, after he was assassinated. The first group, yeah, are the white socialists, yes, and as an example of this, there's a publishing company called Pathfinder Press, yeah. It was run by a Trotskyist socialist by the name of George Brightman, and these are the people that had the rights to publish a lot of Malcolm X's speeches after he was dead. So after he was assassinated. So the first book, Malcolm X is assassinated in the 21st of February 1965. The first book published in his speeches comes out in that same year, published by Pathfinder Press and Brightman, and he heavily edits it to suggest that Malcolm X became a colorblind socialist following his split with the Nation of Islam, right? Okay. The second group, which is more applicable to this conversation, were the Muslim axis that was governed by Saudi Arabia at that time, who had an agenda against the Nation of Islam and wanted to spread Islam in the Americas. What's it called? But they were allied with the American government in their attempt to do so. So let me.
Pardon me?
Huh?
Pardon me?
Yeah, they were.
I'm saying...
They were allied with the so
which government?
the American government.
The American government,
Yes,
which
yes,
Malcolm
yes.
said was?
Yes, the devil, right? But hold on.
Right.
Hold on. Let me land.
So they managed to say, you know what,
Let me land.
Sunnism and white supremacy go...
Let me land.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
So, we know about the Cold War between the West and the East, as Western Europe and Eastern Europe, yes, at that time. So America and Russia being the principal in that. What's less spoken about is the Cold War in the Muslim world, between nations that were, axis that was run, not governed, right, by Saudi Arabia, and the axis that was governed by Gamal Nasser of Egypt. Yeah. The difference being that whereas Saudi Arabia was a very conservative pro-American government, the government of Abdul Nasser in Egypt was anti-imperialism, anti-American, and these kinds of things. Yeah, that was the Cold War going on at the time. Gamal Nasser, and I'm going to give you some as they say, dalil, on this particular subject. Yeah. Now I'm gonna be quoting from an article called "The Bois, Ghana, and Cairo Jazz: The Geopolitics of Malcolm X" by a guy called Hisham. Idi. Now the article is very problematic as far as I'm concerned, but it has some useful information. Yeah. Right. So, just to give some context, American officials were wary. Sorry, let me back up here. He's speaking about Malcolm X's diaries, which was published. Parts of it were published by his daughter a few years ago. Yeah, and he said the diaries, in effect, show a man who has landed smack in the middle of the Arab Cold War of the early 1960s, which pitted Nasser's Egypt and her socialist allies against Saudi Arabia and the conservative monarchies backed by the US. As part of the non-aligned movement, Nasser had stepped up his rhetorical attacks on American allied monarchies in the region, Saudi Arabia being chief among them, through Radio Cairo. Yeah, so Nasser is waging a propaganda warfare against Saudi Arabia at this time. Yeah. All right. The Saudis would soon respond to Nasser's cultural diplomacy, creating a radio station with religious broadcasts. In 1964, they launched their ideological offensive, setting up the Muslim World League, to mobilize various Islamist groups to counter the spread of socialism and secular Arab nationalism. Go a bit further. American officials were wary of which side Malcolm was going to take in this regional Cold War. According to cables at the National Security Archive in Maryland, American diplomats were displeased with the sympathetic stories that Malcolm X and that Black Islam in general were receiving in the Arab press. Officials were convinced that the Nation of Islam was infiltrated by communists and wanted to keep Malcolm away from leftist movements abroad as well. It was around this time that the Muslim World League began considering, listen to this, sending emissaries around the world to spread Salafism. So the Muslim World League, which is governed by Saudi Arabia, were trying to spread Salafism around the world. Yeah? All right, but let's get more specific. Yeah? Right. Including to cities in the West. Diplomatic cables from the early mid to 1960s show Mohammed Surur, the then Secretary General of the Muslim World League, asking the American Embassy in Jeddah for permission to set up a branch office in the US to propagate the faith, quote unquote, and to help raise the level of Islamic education in the US and particularly in the Black Muslim movement. Whose doctrines were in flat contradiction to the teachings of Islam. American officials would soon come to the view that the Muslim World League, American officials would soon come to view the Muslim World League as an antidote to Black Muslim militancy. So my point is that you have a collaboration between the Saudis and the American government to co-opt the legacy of Omar Ali Malcolm X. This autobiography, in many respects, is an example of this because there are missing chapters out of the autobiography. Yeah, the autobiography was published after Malcolm X
That's right.
was assassinated, and it was designed to give the picture of a black man who had racism in his heart for white people, and then found true Islam and relinquished that racism. That was the narrative that they wanted to push. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So they co-opted it, but
did he not push that himself?
no, that's the part I tried to make.
Really?
Malcolm X,
Yep.
yeah. If you listen to the Ballot or the Bullet speech, yeah, 1964. This is before now he went to Mecca, before he went to Africa. Yeah, he was saying things like, "I'm a Muslim, but my religion is my personal business. It's between me and the God in whom I believe. Yeah, but when we come together like this, yeah, put your religion in the closet." That's what he began. This is what you're saying.
What you've just said has not denounced what I've been saying.
All right, let me continue.
In other words, I agree he separated
let me
them.
continue. Right? Because what I'm gonna demonstrate next is the fact that Malcolm X, obviously, so he didn't even live a year, right? After the Mecca experience, yeah.
Right.
But he spent more time in Africa than he did in Saudi Arabia, and most people don't know what he was doing in Africa. So to say Coonism suggests that he was now moving away from a black-focused initiative, yeah. And I'm saying that's categorically false. And Malcolm X was not spreading or propagating Islam to black people. He was propagating nationalism to black people and black power to black people. That's what he was propagating. But let me just demonstrate something to you for a second, yeah? On the Saudi point, right?
Okay.
On the Saudi point, yeah? Right. So we agree that he could not have seen some of what we know about Saudi Arabia today at that time,
Yes.
for him to be saying some of the things that he's saying.
I would agree.
But I want to demonstrate that he already had a critical ear and eye for Saudi Arabia and the people that he was fraternizing with at that time. So even with the lack of knowledge of the true situation of black people at that time, he knew enough to be critical of Saudi Arabia. Yeah, that's what I want to demonstrate next. Yeah.
I'm saying the Muslim world, and he keeps saying about the Muslim world is colorblind and all this stuff.
Yeah. Hold on. Right. All right. Let me do that quickly. When he comes back from Mecca and he has a press conference, yeah, he says perhaps, yeah. So he explains all this stuff and we already asked him about it, yeah, and he says perhaps, yeah, if the white man in America. So I thought perhaps if the white man in America could accept Islam,
Right.
perhaps,
Right.
yeah, perhaps he'd get rid of his racism, yeah. Most people leave out that perhaps part, yeah, and he repeats the perhaps part. What's wrong with what I'm saying?
But listen to what I'm saying.
What's
That's a
wrong with what I'm
propagation.
Yeah, bro.
I'm saying
It's the
he's-
thought that he had. Let's say
he's a person, as you said,
Yeah.
who's very much media savvy, fam. So when he's saying this,
yes.
he's fully aware of him writing this letter.
He's fully aware of the dynamics of America. He's fully aware of the fact that the civil rights movement doesn't want to work with the Nation of Islam and people that project the irredeemable or don't seem to be given the redeemable quality to the white man. Yeah, you know what I'm
I
saying?
think you're arguing something I'm not putting. Let me be clear what I'm saying.
Go on.
I'm not saying that Malcolm X was a Sunni coon. I'm not saying he was a coon at all.
Right.
I'm saying because of his view and experience that he wrote,
But I'm saying
he now laid this thing. He
I'm saying-
represented this thing
Yes.
to be some lovely something.
Yes.
Solution to your problems.
Yes.
We went and bit that cake.
Yes.
And then ripple effects without
Yes.
internet at the time.
Yes.
VHS or Betamax or
no,
whatever.
but my
Go on.
argument is
All
not
right,
that he
come.
never said some things that we might consider problematic. My argument is not even that he never said some things that gave certain people ammunition. My argument is that he was not leading people down that road. To say that he's the modern day leader of a movement, I'm saying
Not movement. Idea.
of idea, yeah.
Towards
But I'm
it.
saying the ideas that he was representing was not that. Right? So that's what I want to prove at the moment. One second, let's go to this. Right, hold on. We're gonna get there, yeah? We're gonna get there. What's the Cold War? 1 second.
La, la, la.
I said you need to be reminded about my
You can't remember, you're tired of it. Towards the end, inshallah, when we get to the end. Yeah.
All right. So, he goes into some other stuff in terms of the actual official formalization of, or should I say, operationalization operationalization. What's the word?
Operation?
How they put into operation, yeah. This Salafi, the spread of Salafism, yeah, particularly to target the Black Muslim movement in America, right? My point.
Who says this?
In the article that I was talking,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
for
yeah.
example, yeah.
He seems to be saying what I'm saying. But go ahead.
But I'm saying that Malcolm X is not the author of this. This is what's going on between the Saudi royal family and the American government. This is not a Malcolm X agenda.
Well, this is what I'm saying. This is my whole point to you. It don't matter what your agenda is. Once you start affirming and legitimatizing an ideology that has been anti-black for 1,200 years.
Different argument.
No, that's my whole bloody point.
No, but to say that Malcolm X is the leader of,
I said the main modern day.
No, but he has to be in cahoots with this agenda. So let me.
Because that still would have had its subliminal effects anyway.
Let me show you something, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
That's just saying they put different fuel in it. They put nitro in it. They would have rolled with normal petrol. That's all. You're saying they put nitro in it.
Let me know. Yeah? So this is really from the same article. Malcolm X in turn was testing the waters, navigating the Cold War, shifting currents, assessing which nation state or movement to align his new Muslim mosque INC with, and even representing himself as a bridge between rival camps. He was courted by the Salafi Muslim World League, yeah, and the Muslim Brotherhood. This is Saudi now, yeah, Salafis them, yeah,
Yep.
all right, who competed to pull him into their Sunni, into their school of Sunni Islam. In September 1964, after undergoing training in Mecca and being appointed an official representative of the organization, Malcolm would consider establishing his Muslim Mosque INC in Harlem as a legal branch of the Muslim World League. But his affection for Egypt ran deep. In a confidential letter to Mohammed Tawfiq Wida, Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs in Egypt, Malcolm explains to the Egyptian official why he is building relationships with the Muslim World League and the Muslim Brotherhood, two movements anathema, as in opposite, to the Nasserist regime. Quote, he says, "My heart is in Cairo." Yeah? Noting that the most progressive social forces in the Muslim world are in the Egyptian capital. But I can be more helpful and of more value to these progressive forces by having strong ties to the conservative forces that are headquartered in Mecca. He adds, "When I passed through Geneva, I even took time to speak with the exiled Muslim Brotherhood leader, Saeed Ramadan, so that I could find out what he was thinking without ever letting him know what I was really thinking." My point is that this is a stage at which Malcolm X, yeah, is a strategist. He's making moves because he's trying to create allies, yeah, in different areas of the world to bring a case to the United Nations against the American government, yeah? And he believes that that basically
Saudi Arabia's with the American government.
basically
so he doesn't want to align with them.
No. He's saying in his heart he's not with the Saudis then.
That's what I'm saying, because they're aligning with the American
strategically, he's creating a strategic relationship to forward a particular agenda. So what I'm demonstrating is that this is a man who is not completely overawed and bowled over by all the hospitality that he experienced in Saudi Arabia. He's more with the people them that he met in Egypt, who are more revolutionary in his mind than Saudi Arabia.
Was Egypt at that time also a major enslaver and oppressor of black people in Sunni Egypt?
Egypt is an oppressor of black people to this day.
Thank you very much.
Hold on.
So he's okay. So I don't want to side with you who enslave black people. I'll side with you enslaver black people.
But again, context is everything. The Pan-African movement at that time, yeah, many people in the Pan-African movement at that time, yeah, had affinity for Gamal Nasser and what was going on in Egypt at that time, because they were anti-imperialist, they were anti, colonization.
He was like a bad man, yeah.
Right, you know what I'm saying? That's the point. So not just Malcolm X, there's ardent Garveyites, yeah. If you watch, for example, yeah, there's a documentary called The Hate That Hate Produced. It's the documentary that brought the Nation of Islam to national and sometimes international notoriety. In that documentary, they profile our Pan-Africanist organizations, one of which was the Universal African Nationalist Movement, which was one of the leading organizations that came after Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Yeah, there's a lot of Garveyites in it. And the brother in that is basically speaking positively about Nasser. He's not a Muslim. You know what I'm saying?
No,
right? From a Pan-Africanist perspective, so at that point, my point is, at that point, the Pan-African world was still learning about the dynamics of North Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And
these kinds
how
of
to
things.
deal with
Right.
the politics
Right.
and
So information,
I totally agree.
but the tradition since then has evolved, whereby
Totally
the black nationalist Pan-Africanists have been the most ardent that to show up the dynamic of the Arabic oppression of African people.
Here's
in
my
Africa.
point.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with anything you've said.
Yeah.
And I would even go so far as to say there were loads of black Egyptians
Yes.
that were on normal settings and standard,
Yes.
higher class, middle class.
Yes.
However, their Sunni religion didn't prevent them, just like bloody Sudan,
But
enslaving black people
I'm going to say
as a norm.
I'm going to say the dynamic is principally religious and cultural, racial and cultural, and the religious takes place in that context. So you know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying once you've got this religion, on the ground.
You're saying it's principally a religious thing.
I am saying
it's
it goes
racial.
side by side. I'm saying to you that because of the nature of a religion like Islam that penetrates your whole society, it's not like Christianity where you have on a weekend. I'm talking about something which governs your whole livelihood.
Yes.
Yes, what you wear.
Yes.
How many Christians, they go to church in miniskirt and boobies hanging out, but you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
You can't go masjid like that. Do you see what I'm saying?
No,
Every aspect of your life in Islam is governed by this. In Islam, every aspect of your life is governed by what Sunniism is telling you.
Bro,
so
I'm not propagating Sunniism.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. So my point is, whatever you're doing in society
Yes.
will be legitimatized by the religion. So if it's legitimatized 1,200 years ago,
Yes.
it would need to be continuously legitimatized by the religion every single generation.
You're not going to get an argument from me on
Right.
the virtues of Sunniism.
No.
What I am saying is...
No, Malcolm. So I'm getting
Yeah,
to Malcolm
I'm
now.
saying,
Hold on. So now if you want to tell me that Malcolm did not stand firm on the Sunni religion that he called Islam, he should have said, you know what, people? What I wrote you about this Sunni creature, this damn religion, and calling man his holiness. The leader
It's a title.
but listen, but this is my whole point. If you are this whole thing I'm saying to you, when you're writing this letter, because it affects the people, right? It affects the people who are listening,
But bro,
and you're now legitimate. Just like, for instance, hold on, I'm going to have done it right here.
Yeah.
He said
Yes.
he has to come out and speak about Elijah Muhammad in the Nation of Islam
Yes.
because he was one of the main people that called him to it, true or
Yes,
false?
yes.
Likewise, he could have also come out and said, you know what, I've called you to this damn Sunni
If he
slave-
knew about
Oh,
it,
la, 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 la.
we've already agreed he didn't live
No.
another year after
Brother, I
after
agree.
that. Right, hold on,
No.
wait, one second. No, because we can't do this thing. The idea that he may have said some problematic things about Saudi Arabia.
Say some problematic things.
Yeah.
They're the main things.
But
You've
bro,
legitimatized a land as a holy land, as a spiritual place where everyone gets together.
No. Listen to what I'm saying very carefully.
Yeah,
I can disagree with his assessment of Saudi Arabia at that time,
and Sunniism together.
right? Whatever it is, yeah?
Yeah.
I can disagree with that and still not place him as the leader
Well,
of
who
Black
is?
Sunni Coonism. Listen,
Oh,
I'll tell you
who
why.
else is?
Because his message
Yeah.
following Mecca
Yeah.
was not appreciably different from his message prior to Mecca. Malcolm X did not come back from Mecca
Yeah.
telling black people, come to Islam. Telling white people,
brother.
come to Islam
It says here.
because it, listen, no. What? You're not listening to what I'm saying.
I'll say.
You cannot lock Malcolm X in a time frame, especially because he died before the autobiography was finished.
Right.
Yeah. And chapters even that were written before he passed away are not in there. Yeah. So to keep him locked.
Hold on, where are these
One
chapters?
second.
Have we got anything
Yeah,
from them?
they're in the possession of one lawyer whose name I can't remember at the moment.
Right, go
and
on.
They're not being published yet. But enough has been said since. Yeah?
Okay, has he
I can get,
denounced
but we don't
Sunniism?
to it. No, but that's the point I'm trying to make. Your barometer,
Yes.
because your preoccupation is Sunniism, is
No, my
him,
preoccupation is black power.
is him denouncing. But all right, so let's deal with Black Power then.
and blacks becoming
But
cool.
let's deal with Black Power
Yes, exactly. Go on.
then. Right? Let's deal with Black Power. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So
So if you legitimatize the religion as a man
let's
that
deal
people
with Black Power though, my
Yes,
brother.
yes.
Yeah. Because I'm saying I don't believe in Christianity, but there
Right.
are many Africans who are Christian.
Yes.
Yeah. Who I love and I hail up and I understand that they were pro-black and some of them were Pan-Africanists and some of them. What's that?
I'm saying, listen to what you're saying.
Yeah. What?
Even if somebody's a Christian.
Yes.
Yes. Christianity has an.
And they will
experience-
tell you that Christianity, there's no
This guy's
racism
not-
in Christianity.
You're not paying attention, are you?
I am paying
I'm saying
attention.
Christianity does not govern your life.
But it does.
How? Show me which
For
Christian
a
it
real
governs.
Christian, it does.
All right, show me.
For a real Christian, it does.
Hold on. So show me the political structure of all of these Christians.
The United Kingdom of Great Britain.
Brother, I'm
The
talking about
United States of
I'm
America.
talking about black people that have taken on Christianity, and we have this Christian law equivalent to Sunni Sharia law. Where is that? Where is this
It's
whole
called
way of
democracy.
life? See what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's
You
called
have
globalization.
No. Wait.
I don't understand.
No. This is
It's
my
called the
point.
British
Talking the real
Empire.
talk.
What, is that in their book?
It's called the British
that in the
Empire.
hadith?
It's called the
Is
missionaries.
that in the hadith?
It's called the
No.
missionaries.
This is my whole point.
Taking the rabbit hole now.
This is my whole point. What you're saying is something where you've got the religion and you've got things
Bro,
beside
bro,
it.
I don't believe like you believe that Sunniism is a particular thing separate from all other things on the planet. I don't believe that.
It's not
Right?
whether
No,
you believe or
I
not.
don't, but it's not. It's not.
On
Many
the point now.
religions.
Hold on.
No, listen.
Did they say democracy's from
On
the
the
most high?
point
Wait,
now.
did they say democracy? Hold on.
I'm not
Hold
talking
on,
to you.
no.
I'm not talking to you.
Yes,
bro.
they do.
I'm not
Yes,
talking
they
to you.
democracy.
Yes, they
Wait,
do.
from
Go
most-
to America right now,
Wait,
and they will
you
tell
know
you
what I'm
the
gonna say.
Pope.
Guys.
When they
When did they say
invaded
democracy's from most
invaded
high God?
Not
Ethiopia,
going well,
the
Lisa,
Pope
not going
blessed the
That's what we're
bums.
seeing.
Not going well.
Yeah,
Wait.
right.
Did they say democracy from the most high
When
God
the
in the
people
Bible?
when the Europeans
Answer
went
that
to
question.
when the Europeans went to Africa and to Africans to the Caribbean and massacred the indigenous people,
They quoted the
this
Bible.
was an act
I understand.
of the Catholic Church.
Brother, listen to what I said
Yeah.
to you. You see,
And
you keep
ordinations
jumping
that were given by the Catholic Church
Right.
as an act of religion,
around. Thank you. You finished?
not just politics.
You finished? Right. So here's my point to you. When I keep saying continuous,
But I want to read some more Malcolm X. You know.
hold on.
Hold on,
That's
talk about
fine. That's
Malcolm
fine.
X.
Right. So I'm saying continuous. I notice our brother Shaka, unfortunately, when he hears one point, he forgets about all the other different
No, I
points.
don't.
Wait. Because you cannot show me the same democracy in the Bible.
Bro.
It's a secular idea
bro.
that they presented
Let's say you're correct.
Hold on. No, let's say it is.
Fine.
But when you go to the Sunni, hold on, he's saying, black man, come into this ideology of Sunniism and Allah commands you. That's the major difference.
Let's say
which
you're
is-
correct. Let's say you're
Well,
correct.
Let's say that's it.
Let's say you're correct. Yeah. Let's say you're correct.
Is that not correct
Let's say you're
according to
correct.
your
No,
knowledge?
hold on. Let's say you're correct. Let's say you're correct.
No, not
One
let's
second, bro.
say.
1 second. Fine, you're
Have
correct.
you- Thank you.
This is not distinct, yeah?
Yes.
Right? Because I'm saying at the time now, we're dealing with a situation
Right.
in Malcolm's day,
Right.
in which Africa is just beginning to decolonize itself.
Yep.
Yeah? No nation on the continent had been independent for more than a decade.
Mm-hmm.
So the primary fight at that time was getting rid of these Europeans out of the continent. Do you understand that? Yeah? That was the primary fight. The French, the British, the Portuguese in particular. Yes?
Oh,
Right?
In particular.
Those three in particular,
Why
yeah.
in particular the Portuguese?
Because they were devils, right? no, you're not hearing me. I didn't say the Portuguese. I mean
The
all
ones
three.
who-
Yeah,
all
no,
of it.
That's
no,
right.
but I get it. I don't want to misunderstand.
Devils.
I don't want to misunderstand. When I say the French, the British, the French, and the Portuguese in particular, I mean all three of them
All
in
three in
particular.
Do you agree
Okay.
that the
Yeah?
Mahdi of Sudan
Right.
fought British?
Hold on, second.
The Mahdi of Sudan
Yeah.
fought the British.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And he smashed them.
Yeah.
Do you
What's
know
the
he
point?
still have his anti-black slave trade going on? You know that?
Yeah, bro. But,
So I'm saying when you're telling me about people
bro,
fighting
but-
British,
but-
they're
bro.
still enslaving black people, bro,
but-
under this
but
religion.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
Bro, I am.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
He licked down the
You're-
British.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
But all the while still got black slaves.
You're not listening
This
to what
man
I'm
don't
saying.
believe in religion
You're not-
anyway.
you're not
It's
listening
not
to
about
what I'm
religion,
saying.
it's
You're not
about
listening to what I'm
historical
saying.
facts.
No,
It's not about
because your thing is
Talking shit
Sunnism
about
in
half an
particular,
hour about the
you're not
Sunnis, not
factoring
about
in the
religion.
religious element to European colonization. That's the first thing. And secondly,
How come?
right? Secondly, even if European colonization was completely a-religious,
Finish him.
the impact remains the same.
What are you telling? Brother, listen. If I say to you back then, there
Bro.
was no. Let me finish. There was no distinction.
I'm
when-
not
hold on,
separating
hold on.
out Sunnism
Listen to what
as a
I'm saying to
particular
you.
kind of repression,
Brother.
separate from
Are-
everything else.
Are black power activists today leaving Christianity and going back to Christianity?
Yes.
Where?
There's a debate that
Yeah.
took there's a debate that took place recently
Yes.
about is Christianity the white man's religion.
Right.
Like many black Christians.
Right.
You ever heard of black liberation theology?
Of course.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
a theology among black people
Right.
in Christendom
Yep.
that affirm their blackness
Right.
and are challenging
So who's leaving Christianity and
Afrocentrics
going
like
back?
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Who's leaving
Who's
Christianity? and going back?
leaving? In other words, who's leaving this white church or whatever? You know, at 20, going on their black search.
But that's a
and
different
going to-
argument.
No, but that's, brother,
the
it's not
debate
because-
right now
No.
is
Oh
Malcolm
my
X. Hold on, wait,
Right.
hold on.
So what are they
Wait,
going
wait,
to?
Hold on.
Discipline.
No, you're
Yeah,
not getting
the debate
you're not
right
responding
now.
to what I'm saying.
But I am,
They
bro.
are going to what?
Bro,
What have they
but
been going to?
You know what? Let's say everything that you're saying is correct. The argument is, the argument, no, let's
Hey,
say it
come
is.
on.
Let's say it is. The argument
Yeah.
is Malcolm X
The leader.
responsible for this?
The leader of
Is
the
it?
Sunni movement.
And I'm saying categorically no. And I'm
So
gonna,
how the hell are they majority? The majority of them make reference to Malcolm X
because
and his
I've,
journey.
but I've already explained.
Brother.
Listen to
Unless
me.
he
Listen to me.
annihilated these words
Listen
and
to me.
anything else.
Listen to me.
And said,
I've
"I
already
denounce."
I've already explained why. It's just any of us
Yes.
can be misrepresented if you take part of what we say, don't consider other things that we say. You could lead anybody down the wrong path in relation to what Isa says, Shaka says, or whatever. I'm saying you can't take Malcolm X's legacy and sum it down to just those words.
I'm
That's
not.
the point. No, but you are.
No.
If
Oh
no,
my
because
gosh.
if you're gonna say
Yes.
that those words alone are representative of his legacy and the movement that he represents.
didn't say that.
But what you're saying, no, but bro.
If I
that's
said
what-
he's a leader of Pan-Africanism and Sunniism, would that help you? Like
no,
my point
you
is,
can't be,
is this
you
when
can't
you
be
focus,
you can't be the leader of Pan-Africanism and the leader of Sunni Coonism. The two are incompatible. It doesn't make any sense.
Hold
right?
on.
It doesn't make
Listen
any
to
sense.
what you're saying.
He was a
He's
Muslim. He was
hold
a Muslim.
No,
Yeah,
he was
that-
a Sunni. You see, this is why I keep telling them they do not understand.
Hold on,
And this-
bro. At a certain point, would semantics come to play?
This is what I'm
No,
trying
no,
to say,
At
fam.
a certain point. as
Brother,
in,
listen to
anything
what
I
I'm
am not
saying.
going to deny that fact that Malcolm X was a Muslim.
No, you're
You
not
can do
getting
that
the
if you
point.
want to, but that's
You're
not my
getting the point.
contention.
No.
It's not my argument.
No. The point is that you have an ideology that has a historical relationship with black people. So much so that they will fight against the white man and kick him out and still carry on with their black slave trade in Africa. And
Bro,
they're black
so
themselves.
let's
And the
say-
difference is they're Sunnis and those enslaved are not Sunnis.
But was
Do you
Malcolm X?
understand?
But
So
was
what-
Malcolm X leading people to Sunniism?
Right.
Is that
So
what he
I
was?
saying,
Hold on. Because even in those words,
Yep.
he's speaking about himself. Let me give you another example. Listen,
you know what? Let me quote. You didn't
please.
listen to the quote.
No. I listened to the quote. Listen to my quote. Yeah? When Malcolm X came back from Mecca and he had a press conference, what did he say? Yeah? He said, my experience in Mecca may solve the problem for me personally. Yes? But I personally never think my problem is solved until the problem of the masses of black people is solved. Let me read you something. Hold on.
You just gave a quote that
Hold
actually
on.
refuted what you were
Hold
trying
on.
to say.
No, it's not. Listen carefully, right? Listen carefully. This is taken here from a speech that he gave in January of 1965, just over a month before he was assassinated. Yeah? Follow me now. All right? It's called Prospects for Freedom in 1964. Check it out if you ain't seen it before. Prospects for Freedom in 1964. Yeah, I'm going to read it from right now, yeah? One of the main ingredients, yeah, of the black struggle, the struggle of the black man in and around the country for the past 12 years has been the black Muslim movement, the movement that he left, you know. Yes? All right? No one can deny that the role that the black Muslim movement has played in America during the past 12 years has been one of the main ingredients in the stepped up militancy on the part of black people throughout this country. No matter what direction the black Muslim movement itself was headed in, no matter what its own organizational philosophy was, and no matter what other people thought about it, no matter what their personal opinions were of the black Muslim movement, still, it cannot be denied that that movement, because of its uncompromising stand and because of its uncompromising militant approach to things, forced other civil rights organizations to be more militant than they normally would have been, and forced many of the civil rights leaders definitely to be more militant than they ever would have thought of being. Yeah, 1 second. Right, I'm gonna cut it for you. Yeah, he goes on to talk about the fact that we need a Mau Mau. Yeah. In the United States of America, because he's playing on the example of the Mau Mau in Kenya and how they liberated the African continent, yeah, as the example for black people, not Sunniism, yeah, right, but the Mau Mau, right. I just want you to know that. Yeah?
Malcolm Mosque in Mosque
All right. No, you're talking about the Muslim Mosque Incorporated. But this is when he was founding the Organization of Afro-American Unity.
Exactly.
Right now,
Two
listen.
separate ones, right?
Exactly. Now, listen.
Thank you very
right,
much.
listen. So he speaks about the division in the Nation of Islam. Yes. Right. Listen now. Out of that division, or out of those who left, was formed an authentic religious group known as Muslim Mosque Incorporated, which practiced the religion of Islam as it is practiced, listen, practiced and taught in Mecca and Cairo and Lahore.
Oh shit.
Boom. What's left?
I said, listen. Yeah?
Go ahead.
Right? And other parts of the Muslim world. Muslim Mosque Incorporated, yeah? But those who went into the orthodox practice of Islam in the Muslim Mosque Incorporated, at the same time, we realized that we were black people in a white society. We were black people in a racist society. We were black people in a society whose very political system was based and nourished upon racism, whose social system, yeah? 1 second, it's very small. Social system was racism, yeah? Whose economic system was nourished with racism. We were black people who wanted to be religious, who wanted to practice brotherhood and all of that, who wanted to love everybody and all of that too. But at the same time, that was a dream, you know, like my friend, the doctor said, he talked about Martin Luther King, yeah? So, wanting brotherhood and wanting peace and wanting all of these other beautiful things, we had to also face reality and realize that we were in a racist society that was controlled by racists from the federal government right on down to the local governments, from White House right on down to City Hall. Racism was what we were confronted by. So we knew that this was a problem that was beyond religion. And we formed another organization that was non-religious. The organization, listen, the organization was called the Organization of Afro-American Unity, or the OAAU. We got the idea, yeah, from travels and observations of the successes that our brothers on the African continent were having in their struggle for freedom. They were getting it faster than we were.
Let me cut in there, bro.
They were getting their independence faster than we. They were getting the recognition and respect, even when they came to this country faster than we were. We had to find out what was happening so that we could do a little bit of it. So, and he goes on to talk about the fact that this was a problem that could not be solved by religion.
Right, go back.
No. Wait. So the point is, if Malcolm X is the leader of black Sunni Coonism, then he be leading black people towards Sunni Islam as the solution to their problems. He never did that.
Finish? All right. Please go back to that quote. Specifically the religion, and then you gave a false commentary.
I gave full commentary.
Yeah, go back to that quote.
Which part?
About religion.
None of that was his commentary.
I just read
Then,
about
I
the
said
words.
then he gave a false commentary.
You said the religion part.
The religion bit he said
He's all talking
is
about
bigger
religion.
than religion. You said something like it's bigger than religion.
Right, so
Where's
we
that?
got people who wanted to be religious, who wanted to practice brotherhood and all that. We wanted to practice love. Where's it gone? Yeah, I'm looking for the word beyond. So wanting brotherhood and wanting, we had to also face reality that we lived in a racist society that was controlled from racists, by racists, and so on and so forth. So we formed this. So we knew that this was a problem that was beyond religion.
Thank you.
And we formed another organization that was
Thank you.
non-religious.
Right. So what we need to look at here is, what are you saying he's saying there when it says beyond religion?
That the problem facing black people is beyond religion.
What does that mean, beyond religion?
It's bigger than religion. It can't be solved by religion.
Okay.
That's what he's saying.
So you're
It has to be solved by the organized focus of black people towards an active black agenda.
Beautiful.
Right? And if you want to know what he spoke about
Because I know the words.
Hold on. He spoke about the Organization of Afro-American Unity. Then we have to look at what was the program of the Organization of Afro-American Unity. Was it to bring back people into Islam or Sunnism or Islam of any shade?
Here's the thing. I want you lot to pay attention. How he continuously, when I've said and proven that Sunniism has nothing to do with Islam, he keeps replacing with Islam.
You
and
haven't
Muslim.
proven anything, bro.
All right.
You made a statement.
Hold on. So,
You made a statement. I don't accept your premise. So
okay,
it's cool.
Brilliant. No, wait. What I'm saying is, it's like somebody who's pro-black having a neo-Nazi temple here and then having a unity temple over here, or a KKK temple over here for black people against black people, so you unite with the KKK world around the world, and then you've got this black unity thing that doesn't have religion. So I'm saying, as long as you try to mask it with the word Islam and Muslims, then
I'm not
obviously-
masking anything.
No, because I've said Sunniism.
Malcolm X.
And wait.
Malcolm
I'm
X
saying-
considered himself a Muslim.
Wait.
And I
We've
pay
all-
him the respect of referring to him as a
No, but
Muslim.
listen
That's
what
all
I'm
it
saying.
is.
Listen what I'm saying.
That's all it is.
The point I'm making is, if us Muslims and the Sunnis agree we're on different religions, and we are thoroughly aware that what Malcolm X is calling Islam is Sunniism, in the discussion, doesn't it make sense if the
How
whole
do you
bloody
know that
main...
though? What do you know?
Is this guy
Do
serious?
you know? Alright, do you?
Orthodox.
Sunni. He
I
must
can't
be a
believe
Sunni.
this. I'll tell you how.
Let
It's
me ask a
easy.
question, let me ask a question.
Easy.
What relationship did
Any-
Malcolm?
easy.
What relationship did Malcolm X have with Shia
Hold
Islam?
on. Listen to what I'm saying.
What relation-
I'm telling you, anyhow at all, Malcolm X was a so-called Shia. Bruv, that would have just licked down the whole place. Man convert to Shia.
Speculation, bro.
Bruv, stop
Speculation.
it, bruv.
Speculation.
Listen to him.
It's speculation.
No, don't tell me speculation, bruv. Anyone
I'm not
with,
speculating,
brother, listen to what I'm saying to you. I'm telling you facts. Not one person on this planet, bruv, listen to what I'm saying. Everyone that knew him knew he was an Orthodox Sunni Muslim. Everyone else that talks about him refers to him as, bruv, it's a standard blasted thing. All the stuff he was
When
saying.
he said it was bigger than religion.
Do you got,
Brother, listen to what I'm saying to you.
From another
Brother,
organisation.
Riza, do you have like your final your overview? Do you have your overview?
Boy. Well, I was trying to get into that. Hold that, please. Hold on.
Yeah. Do you have-
Hold
do you have
on.
your overview? Just-
Well,
just
let's
give
just
me
put this right. America needs to understand Islam because this is one religion that erases from its society the race problem. So America needs to understand Sunniism while he's in this place. So
Hold on.
throughout my travels, hold on, in the Muslim world,
Bro,
where
can I
they're
ask a question?
slaving black people.
Can I ask a question? Let's say, yeah, let's say what he was calling Islam,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
is what you consider to be Islam.
Yes.
Yeah?
That's
Let's say
Then it would have been a different. The whole thing would have been different.
but would the statement in your opinion have been true?
What do you mean? The statement of
So
cleaning racism. Of
when
course.
he says
Yes,
Islam,
yeah, 100%.
you agree,
100%.
right? So his statement is not false, except that you don't agree with what his version of Islam is.
No, bruv.
That's all it is.
You're not
No,
listening.
and he's saying,
This guy, you know.
but he's saying here.
It's like going to a Hebrew Israelite, yeah?
No, he's talking the truth.
Right,
No,
he's
listen,
not-
no,
no,
listen
he's
carefully.
talking the truth.
Do you agree there's different type of Hebrew Israelite?
What you
Yes,
mean?
there is.
No, right, so if you go to a Hebrew Israelite that doesn't
The real
believe...
one.
No, bro, just listen to the question.
The real one.
There are different groups of Hebrew
No,
Israelites.
but there's real.
Man, all right, forget it.
You're not hearing what I'm saying, bro.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. I'm saying to you, brother, that the differences are massive. So therefore...
It doesn't matter how much the differences are. You know why? You know why? Because the question, the premise is,
Yes.
Malcolm X is the leader of black Sunni Coonism.
Right, so then you can't
for
pretend
to
that
substantiate
it's
that
something other
argument.
than Sunniism.
To substantiate that argument,
Yeah.
the movement that he is leading has to be leaning towards Sunni
No,
Islam.
no.
And Malcolm X was not leading black people
Brother,
towards
no.
Sunni Islam by evidence of his
Oh
own
my
words.
gosh. Did he have a mosque?
Yes,
Why did he set up a
because
mosque?
he's
Wait,
a Muslim.
stop.
And so
Hold on,
for
wait.
Muslims,
Wait,
he had a
stop.
Muslim mosque
Stop.
for Muslims who want to practice Islam.
Why? No,
but
no.
his organization, the Organization of Afro-American Unity,
All right, you want to do the
was
shouting
not.
thing? All right.
I'm not shouting. I'm not shouting.
Because
what
I'm-
you do.
No. Not to you, because you're... Anyway, what I'm saying to
You're
you,
a white
brother,
devil.
is simply this. He did not set up an Ifa place, a voodoo place, a Kemet place. He did not set up anything else.
arguing
Or
that.
Christian. Listen to what I'm saying to you. Because he set up something, whether he's
just
knowledgeable,
listen.
he's knowledgeable or not of what this thing teaches. The point is he called to it and established and facilitated the thing.
For himself.
Oh, the mosque was for himself.
No, and the people. He
What do you
already
ask?
said. I just read it. You know.
you from being
Hold on,
a-
I just read it.
Did
One
a
second.
bag
One
of
second.
people leave Nation of Islam and join Malcolm
He's
X?
a Shia, of course. He hates
Did a
the
bag of
Sunnis.
people
I just said-
leave Nation of Islam
I
and follow
just
Malcolm?
said-
Yes or
I
no?
Oh, he's a Shia. He hates
First of
Sunni.
all,
He's
one
like
of the
Sunni
one
are
of the
Muslims, only Shia are Muslims.
yeah,
That's what he
in
says.
that dynamic,
can't believe
you also have to factor in Wallace D. Muhammad.
Yes.
Yeah, prior to Malcolm X.
Yes.
Right. So,
Yes.
but the point is,
I'm saying, did a
Wallace-
bag of people leave Nation of Islam and
Wallace
join
D.
Malcolm X?
Muhammad is a good example
a nation.
because Wallace D. Muhammad was leading black people directly towards Sunni Islam.
Brother, I know this. That's
yes.
why I said Malcolm X
But-
the main
but-
one.
But it's a no. But
That's why I said
no.
main.
You're not hearing my
Yeah,
point.
yeah, because he did
Right?
make- you make multiple
Wallace
points.
D. Muhammad was actively
Let's
leading
him.
black people towards Sunni Islam expressly. That
aware.
was
That
his
was the one of the big,
agenda.
breakup.
That
Brother,
was
brother.
listen. That was his explicit agenda. Malcolm X's explicit agenda. He is saying our problem, You're the one who's saying Sunniism governs everything. It governs this, that, what, next, This is a man who's saying the religion thing is not going to solve our problem.
As black people.
So, hold on, no. So, let us set up an
No, he
organization
didn't say that. He
called
said it's beyond
Family,
religion.
we're gonna have to wrap
Yeah,
up soon.
but he said
he actually did
our
say that.
problem is
He actually did
beyond
say that.
any religion.
Right.
He actually did
What's
say
stopping
that.
you from
I
saying
want you to,
He actually did say that.
listen to what I'm saying to you.
He actually did say that.
In his words, in this book that I've quoted, right, where he calls these men enslavers of black people, holiness, and all these different things where he's promoting
He
the
made a
people.
mistake.
Bruv, then I've got no
And he's
problem.
entitled to make a mistake.
Exactly.
Did I say that at the beginning? Hold on, did I say that at the beginning? Did I say that at the beginning?
But no.
Did I say that at the beginning?
No.
It's yes or no?
No.
What are you saying now, though?
No. Here's the difference, Isa. There's a difference between making a mistake and formulating and propagating an agenda. Malcolm X said something in relation to his experience in Mecca. He never came back and said,
Nah.
black people, let's all move to Mecca.
Nah.
He never said that.
No, bruv, don't lie.
Him never said that.
No.
Him never said that.
You see,
Right?
no,
He never said.
let me read
He
that
never
again.
said
You
black
interrupt me.
people.
No, when I was reading, you interrupt me. Right?
Go on.
So let's deal with this now. America needs to understand Sunniism, right? Where I say Sunniism, he puts Islam. Because this is the one religion.
Why did he say that though? Why did he say that?
The reason is because he don't know what Islam
No,
is.
it's not. He's talking about. He said. Why is
The nation.
No.
He just said
No.
Sufis. Remember, he said Sufis are not Sunnis.
Listen, I know we need to wrap up.
He said Sufis are not Sunnis. And you didn't know that.
Listen.
Both have your final
What did he
statements.
say?
Why you gotta go?
What did he
No,
say?
they have to go.
What did he say? America.
Just waiting for you guys.
America.
Wait, no, you can't do that. I'll let you talk for ages, bro. Nah, bro. Don't interrupt me when I'm reading.
What
to
are
give
you
his talk.
defending now?
Right.
Give
That
the
man
America
family
needs
some
to
respect.
understand Sunniism. Because this is the one religion, Sunniism, according to him, that erases from its society the race problem. So any black people listening to
What
this.
race? What race?
The,
What race?
The race problem.
What race?
Brother, race problem, meaning the race problem is that one race thinks it's superior to another.
What
so
race?
he's
Like
bruv,
you.
all races. Don't
No,
you
but
understand?
under the nation of Islam.
He's asking the
It's
right
not
question.
Brother,
Under the nation of Islam, can't you get different races?
brother,
of
listen.
people?
He's not Nation of Islam. He's Sunni now.
Under the nation of Islam, can you have different races
Yes.
of people?
Yes. So what?
So why call it a nation?
What
when
the
there's
hell are you talking
nation
about?
that's actually nation.
Brother, why you want to
The
argue?
man
about,
said his
you're not-
problem is bigger. Our
Brother,
problem
you're not
as a
listening.
nation, as
I'm
a
reading,
black nation,
brother, listen carefully.
is bigger than any
Brother,
religion.
it's like-
so he stepped away
So,
from
so
religion.
this is garbage then.
No.
Wait, no.
All right,
Read the
I
blast
used
thing.
to be.
Hold on,
Let him
interrupt
finish,
him.
let him
Interrupt him when he's reading. Don't interrupt me.
Okay, sorry.
America needs to understand Sunniism because this is the one imposter religion that erases from its society the race problem.
It's a comedy show. It's a comedy
Because I have
show.
to tell you what, anyway.
You
all
know
right.
what? Read it as it's written.
Let me do what I'm doing. No. Because people need to understand what exactly he was talking about.
Take off your mask and say, I'm doing.
Listen to
All right,
the
yeah,
black
but
Tellect.
I already
Isa.
said that.
let me
I
read
said
the
whenever I
black
say
Tellect.
Sunniism,
Read.
it says Islam. I've already
Okay,
said that.
Yeah, but that's what it is.
Because this is one religion which he didn't study or know about that erases from its society the race problem. Throughout my travels in the Muslim world,
Yes.
who at that time were consistently enslaving and abusing black people,
Okay.
I have met, talked to, and even eaten with people
Yes.
who in America would have been considered white.
Yes.
But white attitude was removed from their mind.
Yes.
Yes.
But the color is the
What's
same.
up, man?
Yes.
By the religion
Yes.
Yes.
of Islam,
Yes.
Sunniism.
Yes.
Now, if they are enslaving you,
Yes.
your people at the time,
Yes.
has it removed?
No.
Okay.
But Isa,
Let me continue.
No, continue.
He's gonna stop.
I have never before
Yes.
seen
Yes.
sincere and true brotherhood practiced
Yes.
by all colours
Colours,
together,
yes.
irrespective
Yes.
of their colour.
Yes.
Now, wait.
You know what?
What is the impression?
Yes.
What is the impression you get?
Get from that? Right. Let me tell you.
Reading this
Let me
shit.
tell you.
And there's a holy-
The best here, Isa. The best you can
Yes.
get out of that
Yes.
is that Malcolm X
Yes.
promoted Islam as the solution for the white man, not the black man.
Like KFC promote popcorn chicken.
Are you
That's the only thing you get out of that.
Watch this. I'm gonna blow this to
Blow
pieces.
it, right?
This guy really.
Oh,
Oh my days!
He's gonna blow everyone.
Now this is the problem when people can't read.
Blow everyone.
Let me explain something.
Because I want
Our brother Malcolm X is
He's gonna
talking
blow
about
the white.
the interconnection.
No, he.
Let me
No, no,
finish,
no,
brother.
what he said.
He's talking about himself and how he's experienced. Them treat him.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay?
As a
Yes.
black man.
Wait, so as in the solution
Yes.
for people that think they're superior to blacks.
Yes.
And I'm saying to you, mashing up his point, that Sunniism is the damn religion
No,
that has
but-
sustained the same white Muslims he's talking about,
Bro,
white Sunnis,
bro.
to enslave blacks
Bro.
for 1,200 years.
And then he
doesn't know what he's
realised,
talking
when he
about.
realised,
I'm
No,
not
no,
gonna-
no,
no,
stop,
I'm not gonna-
stop.
But you know I
listen to
agree
what
with that, so what are you
listen,
talking about?
Listen, I want to say it
You're-
again.
you're missing the
No,
point.
listen
You're
to what
missing
he
the
said.
point.
His boom point was that for white people.
No,
I'm saying
I'm-
if you give white people Sunniism, they will be worse.
But I'm not-
just like wait, he just said,
Worse than the British Empire. This is
Okay,
nonsense.
Can I ask you a
really?
question?
How can the white devil get even worse?
When did you
Wait, no,
realize
hold on. Wait. You're
How
missing the
can
point.
the white devil
You're
be
missing the
worse than
point.
the devil?
I am. Yeah,
missing
cool,
up.
cool.
You
I'm picking, yeah, go kick, yeah.
I am not saying, you know.
You're right about
I am
one
not-
thing,
listen.
is that you sure did blow.
Listen.
no, bro, he's finished.
We're gonna wrap up.
How can you
No,
claim?
wait.
No.
No.
You-
Wait.
This
Let me
man
speak,
read for
let me
all half
speak.
hour, you know.
Let me speak.
And then speak for all half hour. And I can read a little bit.
No, I was reading. No, I didn't speak for half hour. I read Malcolm's words. Yeah,
And then you speak
Wait,
afterwards.
no, wait, hold on, all right.
Say the
Final.
closing statements and we resume.
Fine.
mercy on your brother.
Let me make this point, yeah?
Yeah, go ahead.
What I'm saying is,
Yes.
the most you get out of that statement, because he's the question that you're asking, you know, is Malcolm X the
The
leader,
main leader of modern day Sunni
black?
Coonism.
No, you said black Sunni Coonism.
No, well, yes. Well, that's
Yeah.
what Sunni Coonism. But
Exactly,
yes.
right? And I'm saying,
Because the Coon is a black
and I'm
person
saying,
selling out.
Just for clarity, when you say leader, do you mean
Yeah.
intentional leader?
No.
no. Doesn't matter.
Not conscious
If
at
you
all.
are the leader,
Meaning that somebody has presented something about knowing he is in a leadership position. He knows that when he says something, holy people say,
So what
let me follow
about-
that wait. Holy people, so I'm saying when he writes this, loads of people say, boy, you know what? He's experienced that. He was a firebrand for us. He was our man. He was our defender as a black man.
I just wanted to get clarity if
Yeah.
you mean that he's deliberately like,
No,
No,
but it
no,
doesn't
not
matter
at
if it's
all.
deliberate or
Not
not.
intentionally at all.
Malcolm X was not leading black people to Sunniism.
He didn't.
Yeah?
He wrote the book by accident.
The most you could
He
say,
wrote the books by accident.
the most you could say about that
And he talking
statement.
about one statement, huh?
The most,
Go on. Like I ain't got a holy.
Alright, the most you could say.
Can you man trying to resume this thing?
Hear what I'm saying? The most you could say about that statement, because he's not presenting Islam as a solution for black people. He's saying for white, you don't have to, bro. You're not listening to what I'm saying, innit?
It's a presentation
it's
for
not- it's
everybody.
not-
That's his
it's
whole
not
point.
about agreement.
Of
It's
course
about,
it is. All right, listen to what I'm saying. So are you saying he's suggesting that white people practice Islam and black people don't? Is that what you're really trying to tell people? My religion is Sunniism, right? If Malcolm X is saying, I'm a Sunni, so I am intelligent enough
You're
to
not
follow
listening, is it? You're not
Sunniism,
listening, is it?
and I'm suggesting that white
You're not
people
listening,
practice
is
it to get rid of
You're
their
not listening,
racism,
is it?
but black people don't practice
I already
it.
quoted
How
what,
dumb is that?
I already quoted what he said.
Sorry,
I already
that's-
quoted. I already quoted what he said.
That's ridiculous.
Come on, guys.
But I
have
already
verse.
quoted what he said in the press conference when he came back. He said, perhaps if the white man in America could study Islam. Here he's saying,
Right.
America
Right.
to study Islam.
To do what?
Where Malcolm X says America.
To do what?
What is he talking about? Yeah?
So white people, he's saying, study the anti-black neo-Nazi Sunniism so
You're not
you can
listening.
also enslave black people like Saudi Arabia,
You're-
like
you're not
Mauritania,
getting the
like
point.
Sudan.
You're not getting the
That's
point.
all that's going to happen.
You're
It'll be
not-
like,
you're
you
not-
know
you're
what?
missing the point.
Instead
Neo-Nazi
of
Sunnis.
You're not missing the
Christianity,
point. You're not
we'll
missing the
enslave you
point.
under Sunniism.
You're not missing the point.
How-
You're not getting the point.
Are you damn right I'm not missing the point? I got the point clear.
The point is,
He didn't
that's
know what he
I'm
was saying.
The point is, I am not going to. I'm not promoting the idea that his idea of Islam, or what he calls Islam, is correct. What I am saying is that the statement that he's making
Yes.
is directed at removing the racism from
White people. And
Right.
I'm saying
And
to
he's
you,
saying-
it will not do that. And it hasn't done it now.
Bro,
These white
but
converts
you're
that
not
come
going
in,
to get
these
an
white
argument.
converts that
White
come in,
devil
But you're
is
not.
eternal.
But you're not going to get an argument from me about that. The question is.
Right.
The question is.
right?
Is Malcolm X the
Promoting
leader
this,
of
promoting this.
no?
Right,
is
go on.
Malcolm X the leader of Black Sunni
The main
Coonism?
leader of Black Sunni.
And I'm going to go as far as to say Malcolm X did not come back to the United States of America trying to promote Islam to white people. That was not his agenda. So if he says that,
You mean
and
to
then
black
he says,
people?
no, black
No,
people.
what do you mean? White people or black people when you say that?
I meant white people. So I'm saying,
you're saying he
so
didn't
I'm
come
saying
back to
even though he said that,
Okay.
his agenda when he came back was not telling white people accept Islam. He wasn't going around doing dawah to the president,
he was-
and the
Hold on,
cabinet,
Bruv,
and he
stop
said,
that. He
What? No,
already
no,
sent
hold
this
on,
already.
Hold on. No, but
This is preceded him.
You see that what you
One
read?
sec.
What the neck?
But this group, being Afro-American, he's talking about the people that he's organizing with now, yeah? Being black American, realized that although we were practicing the religion of Islam, still there was a problem confronting our people in this country that had nothing to do with religion and went above and beyond religion. A religious organization couldn't attack the problem according to the magnitude of the problem, the complexity of the problem itself. So those in that group, after analyzing the problem, saw the need or the necessity of forming another group that had nothing to do with religion whatsoever. And that group is what's named and is today known as the Organization of Afro-American Unity. Omawale Malcolm X speaking to civil rights workers in Mississippi, January the 1st, 1965.
This is a simple thing now. That's his last word now.
No.
Just a simple question.
No, one more thing.
Just
right?
a simple question.
One more thing.
Did Malcolm
It's
X
not simple.
ever call out
One more thing.
Sunnism
One more
for
thing.
being an
One more
anti-black
thing.
slave
One
religion?
more
That's the
thing.
simplest thing.
One more thing.
Because I'm saying,
One more
after
thing.
saying this, well, I'm saying one thing and I'll say my thing.
Right? What is clear is that my good
Where are the coffee
brother
cups?
Isa, the black Tellect, yeah, has been influenced by, unfortunately, his perspective comes from the same Saudis that he's fighting against. His perspective,
Boy!
this is unfortunate.
Shut him out, yeah.
This is unfortunate. His perspective on Omawale Malcolm X is the perspective of the very Sunnis, yeah, that he's fighting against.
It's his own words.
It is
Here
them.
On YouTube.
It is them that promote the idea that Malcolm X
okay.
came back a severe Muslim integrationist and reformist, yeah,
Tried to
after
lie,
Mecca.
yeah.
Yeah,
Me not say that.
not
Me not
the
say that.
hardcore
Me not say
black
that.
power Pan-Africanist that he was.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is this. If we resume this conversation at a later date,
yes.
yeah, I'm going to go into
Go
the
into it.
program.
Yes, please. Episode 2 of
The program.
of the comedy show.
Yeah, the program of the Organization of Afro-American Unity that he was building, that was his agenda, and that's what he propagated.
That's
Yeah,
why
I want
they
to ask
kill
you a
him.
question.
and if you want to analyze what Malcolm X was leading, what he was a leader of, it was the Organization of Afro-American Unity.
And who led the mosque? Anyway,
Brother,
anyway.
Was it,
You see
Hold on,
that-
wait.
you see
No,
that-
no, interrupt, man, interrupt. Stop the noise, no,
I'm
man.
going to give him his answer. I'm going to give him his answer.
Don't
interrupt, only he
I'm
can
going
do
to
that.
give
All
him
right,
his
so what I'm
answer.
saying to you, brother, do you know that Malcolm X's grandson converted to
To
true
Shia Islam. To Shia Islam.
Do you know that for sure?
Yes.
Okay.
To Shia Islam.
Do you
He's a
know he
Shia.
went around teaching that?
What, teaching Shia Islam?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Because he was co-opted by some Iranians, and until no, it's true.
That's fine, that's
right?
fine.
And what? By the way, what is the condition of black people in Iran today? That's another subject for another time.
Right.
But
But again, I'm not promoting Iran.
But the
I'm talking about ideology.
Pan-Africanists who know. Because he was somewhat a victim of that propaganda as well. So he went into searching for Islam and found Shia. But the Pan-Africanists who knew Malcolm X was reaching out to him as well and saying, you got to learn this aspect of your grandfather's legacy.
I hear that.
Right? Your grandfather wasn't about just going around preaching Islam to people. No.
Brother,
That's not what it was about.
the principal
Yeah?
thing was about, that's what I'm saying, the difference. Like, why would
Do
somebody,
you know, but do you know Malcolm X's relationship with Shia Islam?
I've come across it before, but not lately.
Right?
Yeah.
And he had a relationship with Shia Islam.
But he didn't convert. That's what I'm saying.
But my point
My
is,
whole point, let me,
but you cannot judge a man.
I just want to give, no, brother, listen to what I'm saying. When I say the word leader, because maybe this is the thing that you're
He's wrapping up,
misunderstanding.
I'm not even saying that.
This is maybe where he's misunderstanding me. I'm saying once you start promoting and legitimatizing an anti-black ideology, as long as you don't come out like you did with Nation Islam and say, listen, you see that thing I was praising and saying was so good? It's garbage. Just like I come and tell you that Sunni stinking dirty religion
He just said
is
it,
garbage.
number
I used to be out
just
there
said it.
giving out leaflets on the
He just
street.
said it in a more
Now
intelligent
about
way.
Sunnism years ago.
He said
And
it
just
in a
like
more
now,
intelligent way.
anyone that knew me as a dumb Sunni pagan idiot, although inside, no, I have to admit it, I was brainwashed by that garbage too. Clear cut, I've come out. Boy, anyway,
When you're wrong,
right
brother.
now, I'm saying likewise. Because listen to what our brother's saying.
Yeah, listen
But
to me.
hold
brother,
on, listen to what he's saying,
Look,
right?
you know what I talk
And go
about.
on YouTube and see how the Sunnis are continuing. Even up to the other day, I got the video on my phone, which we can put up if we do another thing online, where they're still using Malcolm X's quotes
They are.
to talk
But
about
I said that already.
Brother, you're not
I
listening.
said the Sunnis
Brother,
are
you're not
using the legacy.
listening.
But that's not what Malcolm X taught.
Brother,
what Malcolm X taught was
this
black
guy-
power, black unity, Pan-Africanism,
He's not
black
listening.
nationalism. That's what Malcolm X taught.
right.
As long
That's what
as
Malcolm X
but you
taught.
want, what you're trying to do is ignore this side of it.
I'm not ignoring it.
Brother, listen to what I'm
I
saying.
told you that's their agenda. That's what they've been doing since
I want you to
1965.
listen. Because he did not denounce
When
it,
KFC was real chicken.
it's, as long as it's not denounced, it can be legitimately taught. That's my whole damn point.
Malcolm X
You
said
understand?
that religion
Can he
was not a
denounce it
solution
from
to our
the
problem.
dead, from the grave?
Exactly,
No, no,
that's what I'm trying to
Pardon?
say.
Can he denounce it
From
from
the
the
grave.
grave?
mean
Yeah,
from the
he
grave?
made a mistake, bruv. Like,
Bruv, are you listening? He quoted
His
something.
assessment, he
Brother,
made an
listen to what I'm
assessment
saying.
based upon the information that he had
Right.
at that time.
Brother,
but that assessment did not become his agenda.
Bruv,
When
I'm
he
not
comes
saying-
back,
you
he
keep
said,
saying agenda.
but it
When I
wasn't his
say
agenda.
leader, brother, listen.
To
When I say- no, no, no.
to make
listen
the
to what I'm saying.
statement, Malcolm X is the leader of something.
main leader of
You
something,
have
yes.
to be able to demonstrate that was his agenda.
No.
You haven't been
No,
able to do that.
Not at all.
You haven't been able
Not
to do
at all.
that.
Not at all.
No.
Listen,
What you're
Kev, no,
talking
no, no,
about
no, no,
is
no,
the
no.
Sunni agenda.
No, 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 no.
So you're judging Malcolm X
La, la, la,
by
la,
the
la.
Sunni
Stop.
agenda.
Right.
But I ain't doing that.
No, watch this.
Come on,
the
real
first
African.
stop. No. Yeah, real
The real
African.
African.
Betty, come get it. Anyway.
What was he- what was he before
Eat
he-
your cookie, man, eat him up.
Before he started
As I was saying, one sec.
Him.
Last
I
bit.
know.
Last bit. What I'm saying to you
Born
is,
Islam.
number one, because Malcolm was already a leader of people. He didn't convert to Sunni first. Because he's a leader, when a leader like that promotes and legitimizes an ideology like Sunnism that's anti-black, he's then the leader to that. That's
he's
my
not.
point.
No, he's not.
I'm saying as long as he
No, he's not.
legitimizes it
If
and
I
does not
promote-
denounce it.
If I promote eating pork, I'm not the leader of eating pork.
And
No,
when
no,
you stop
if-
eating
hold
pork-
on, what?
And then when you stop eating
My
pork,
agenda
then
is
what?
not
If
to
you're
get
a
black people
leader
to
of
eat pork.
people. No, you see how he changed it now?
Bro,
If you
I
were
know.
a leader
And
first.
to be quite frank,
Yes.
I have leadership positions
You used to
in
sell the
certain
pork in
organisations.
Right,
Yeah?
You used to
right.
But I'm
sell
saying
the
that.
pork.
So if
If you start talking about how
so
good
if
this
I-
thing is for your body,
yeah.
right? You start talking about how good
Yeah.
this thing is for your body,
Big enough
and
to
rate
eat
it,
pork.
and it'll be
If I
good.
say
it'll be
pork is
these
good for
things.
you,
Yeah.
it
Right.
doesn't mean I'm the leader of eating pork.
Brother, if
I
listen
made
what
a
I'm saying.
statement and I was
No,
wrong.
Listen,
You was
no,
wrong.
you see the bit
You
he's
was
missing
wrong.
out is if you're a leader
wrong.
already.
Yeah.
Notice I keep
I
missing
used
out
to
this
eat
point I
pork,
put there,
yeah.
you know.
But
They're
then
always
when I
doing
stopped
this.
eating
But
pork-
I
But
clearly
imagine I
said,
said that now, and a man said, "Why is Shaka the leader of the pork eaters?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be vexed.
Are they
Yeah.
inspired by Malcolm X?
thank you, because the people left the nation
They're
of
not,
Islam.
but I'm saying they're not inspired by Malcolm X. They're
here we go.
inspired by Sunni revisionism of
You
Malcolm
know
X.
what? You know what? Can I
That's
say
what I'm
something?
saying.
Can I say something?
That's what I'm
This
saying.
is
Can I
Sunni
say
revisionism.
one thing?
That's what
All right,
I'm
listen,
saying.
Can I
listen,
say
but
one?
Read, bad
evidence
man.
quoted.
Yeah, but when
No,
I
you
defend
crazy.
Malcolm X any day.
Can I say one?
Anytime.
Can I
Yeah?
say one?
Any day. Anytime. Yeah? I defend Malcolm X any day. Yeah, I don't tell you anything.
Can I say
Friendly
one?
fighting. It's a friendly fight.
Instead of he wanted Malcolm X.
I'm a while back. Yeah, go on.
He
go on, go on.
wanted Malcolm X to say that,
No, I
that
pick up Malcolm X,
Islam
don't try
and
that.
everything
That's
under
the point I'm trying to
Islam.
make.
Hold on.
That's the
No,
point.
Hold
yeah.
on, bro. He
That's-
wanted
oh, bro. What do you wanted?
Malcolm X
To ban Sunnism.
to
And because he didn't do that, he's a leader of Sunni
yeah, no,
Coonism.
he wanted Malcolm X to talk derogatory towards them. But
Right.
because when he came back, he said he basically exclude any religion underneath the sun.
Right.
He didn't say Christian.
Right.
He didn't say Abrahamic.
Right.
Right, bro.
He said
Put it
our
to one
problem-
side, put it
He
over
did
there,
not
sir.
say that Christianity
over
was
there,
the
sir.
He said
solution.
religion.
Put it over
he
there,
said,
sir.
he
Brother, you're
said-
not
he said
listening.
any
Put it over there,
If
sir.
you
religion.
specify a religion first and foremost
he-
as the
he-
solution,
but then
you
he
have to
didn't.
When he
denounce that
came
one.
back
The
from his
solution for
travel-
what,
Brother,
though?
you're not listening.
He never promoted Islam as a solution for black people. That's the point.
Brother.
That is the point.
Racism in America.
I defend
Yes,
Malcolm
he
X
did. Yes, he did.
any day.
Yeah, and he lost.
Anytime.
And he lost. because
Anywhere.
he keep ignoring one
You
point.
come from Malcolm X,
Yeah.
I come for
You
you.
lose.
And
Malcolm-
don't be a guy.
Malcolm, he
Jump
can't
off
jump
the
in
edge.
tomorrow.
He can't jump
One day, go.
in. Suicide
One
here.
day.
Get me?
Man, I
One
fall
day.
When
on
a
his
real
side.
bad man.
He's
One
a
day-
bad man at all.
One day you
He's
can
bad
wake up.
intellectually.
Real bad
I
man.
agree.
With a
He's
player with a
intellectually
team.
bad.
Yeah.
He
You
can
wake
wake
me up 2 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
I can debate Malcolm X.
All right, then we'll see
With
about
no
that.
research.
Notice
Yeah?
how.
Half
Notice how.
asleep. I debate with you about
He is
Malcolm
half
X.
asleep.
I
Obviously,
defend Malcolm X.
because he can't remember the basic
Anytime.
things
What
quoted.
you did
Anywhere.
was genius
Yeah.
though, because you know
Unfortunately,
what
you got
you
dealt
dug up. You know what you dug up. That's something that they would have loved to suppress.
Oh,
We
lad,
done.
yeah?
They
All
would-
right, people, look.
They would have loved to suppress
Big up
that
to the people.
information that you.
I
That's
actually
what I'm
enjoyed that.
saying.
They would have loved.
So Isa is a victim of
Yeah.
the propaganda
Oh
of the Shia, of the
my
Sunni.
And they-
That's what I'm saying.
So what you read to him, even though Malcolm X X
That's what I'm saying.
said it, he's still denying, he's still
That's
holding
what I'm
on to the,
saying.
he's still holding on to the bit where,
That we're
where
saying.
Malcolm X just
So
want to
he
fight.
is, so he is
Are you
doing
listening to
what
what
the
I'm saying?
Sunnis want him to do.
Yes, exactly. So he's a victim. He's a victim of
He's
his
a
own
black
Listen,
circumstance.
we can't rely on your intelligence in regards to this debate,
No,
so I
but-
don't know why he's relying
Oh,
on
he's
you.
calling
But
you dumb,
no,
man. He's
if
calling
you confess,
You can't rely on this guy
all
to
right,
come
if you
consistent.
confess the killing, if you confess the killing before you die.
No, we don't listen to the white devil over here.
If you give,
The white devil gets no ratings over here.
hold on,
You
if
get
you
me? Yeah,
confess,
just ignoring the white devil.
if you confess the
Ignore
killing,
the white devil.
if
He might
you
make you
confess the
understand.
killing that
This is a
everyone
suicide
accused you
mission.
of doing, if you confess the
A
killing before you
suicide.
die,
That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
we're
that
hyper.
everyone accused
You
you
can
of doing,
tag team
then
anybody.
you then say this man.
You can
Big
tag
up
team.
content, big up content.
Anybody
Have
could
mercy
come
on
help
Leon.
him.
Have mercy on
Big up.
I'm a
Leon.
Wally Malcolm X to the
He
world.
can try and bring
I'm a Wally
Hebrew.
Malcolm X to the world.
He can bring
I'm a Wally
Pan-Africanist.
Malcolm X forever.
Anyone can help him.
Brother,
You
I'm
get
a Wally.
annihilated.
He didn't
The
bring
sun
me.
has returned.
I'm against
Calm
man.
I'm a Wally. I'm a Wally.
It's
I'm Malcolm
simple.
X.
It's simple.
I'm a Wally Malcolm
The
X.
amount of
Brother.
quotations.
You know,
And
you
video
know
evidence.
it's right. You know it's
Brother,
right.
brother. Because you lot don't understand English.
Oh.
You know that. You know it's right.
Done? You cut off ready.
So he's basically holding
We'll
Malcolm
continue,
X
we'll continue
under
on that, we'll continue on that,
chastisement.
we'll
You're holding,
continue on
you're
that.
holding Malcolm X under
Big up. And this is what I like.
Record the hug, record the hug.
This is
Record the
what
hug,
I like. You
record the
see,
hug. Yeah, Carl, we're
brothers
brothers.
It's
Yeah.
done.
who can
It's done,
discuss,
bro.
Yeah, man.
It's done.
disagree,
That's done.
and debate,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
and hold
Yeah,
this passion thing for,
Yeah,
bro,
man. Yeah, man.
loving the black
It's
power,
love, it's
bro,
love,
black
it's love,
unity.
it's
You
love,
get me?
it's love, it's
love.
This
Stop
is how you
blaming
reason.
Malcolm X, bro.
You understand?
Stop
Bro,
blaming
leave
Malcolm
your
X.
Hebrew garbage
Stop
out here.
blaming
Black unity.
Bro,
What happened to the love? What happened to the love? What happened to the love?
This man wanted
Yeah,
he wanted to tell
same.
black people, but we didn't get to Jamaica on slave ship. And it, bro, stop that.
Black unity, but only if you're not Sunni. If
Bro.
you're Sunni, no. No
Why would I
unity.
be? If you're black, me
Bro,
a
how
Nazi.
can you be Sunni and not do what the Sunni do? How,
I'm not Sunni.
who are you then? Who are
I'm a
you?
Muslim. I'm not Sunni.
You're Muslims.
I'm a Muslim. Yeah.
You are the Shia Uncle Omar.
Nothing is
Nah, bro,
wrong
I'm
with.
old as an idiot.
You have to take everything
So
that
are
comes
you.
with being a Muslim then.
Yeah, what's
You
that
have
got
to
do with
take
Sunni?
everything. You have to
Exactly.
take everything that
You don't know
comes
what it means. That's the problem.
I don't know
What does Sunni mean?
Sunni.
Yeah.
Bro, I went to war against the Sunnis.
What the
bro.
hell does Sunni mean? It's a simple question. When you went to
you
war,
don't
when you
even-
hugged them,
bro.
that's what I'm saying. You're getting involved in conversation. You don't know what it means.
Bro, but
That's
I
my
know
point.
I know
You're
what the
confused.
bro. You don't need to get personal, bro.
Brother, listen. If somebody's coming to tell me about something which I personally was, how can I respect your opinion when you never
But
was?
then we have to go to grassroots. Then if you're gonna say you're
I
a
used to be a
Muslim.
damn Sunni. Yeah, let's go to grassroots anytime, bro.
Anyway, we have Oman and people about
Yeah, me too.
We'll
Which way I
talk.
go now? Which way I reach?
Marble Station. We have Wembley. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, we're reason. So
No, definitely.
I can't say the reasoning.
Definitely, because just
Thank
like
you
how
very
you
much.
cut him down, just like how I see you cut him down, that's one down. That's one
You know
down.
what she said?
What's that?
She said the only man that talks sense amongst you is him.
No. No,
From
you cut
all
him.
of you.
Yeah, I've seen man getting cut down there.
He with the media has been
Yeah.
feeding them. He's the one who actually
Who? Him.
he thinks.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
He actually,
He's a
I'll be honest.
thinker.
I'll be honest.
Debate,
I thought this was going to be a breeze, right? But I'm glad he brought the thing. I'll be honest, I don't like to see my brother be a kick over.
Yeah, no,
If you're
I represent
represent-
that, bro.
you get-
But you knew when you asked me for the debate that I wasn't going to
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't think you could.
So what else you gonna debate next?
No, you have to understand. I'm not. Listen, you see my thing, yeah? I studied it very well, fam. If I say I'm a Pan-Africanist, I've studied it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
More with Malcolm.
Yeah, but Malcolm's
I've heard.
Pan-Africanist, though.
No. I hear that.
There's
But I'm
few
saying-
people in life that I rate more than Malcolm. That's why when you brought it to me,
I know.
I didn't even. Like, I was like, what?
I was
You
like,
get me?
oh, so you got
Yeah,
Malcolm
I
now?
was saying, yeah, no, I was in it. Like, you have to understand, I take Malcolm personal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
get
what,
me?
bro, this is my point.
Yeah.
I love them. Down there, there were Somalis, one woman with a scar.
You get me?
She was
If I don't put you that way,
Can't run, they can't run.
I hear that, bro. You get me? So that'll pull the people out, bro.
What you say, content online, yeah?
Online thing, fam.
Is that live?
No,
No, he wants to continue online.
No, was that live?
No.
Boy, that's a big one.
Some of it was, but my battery ran out on my phone. I never had the charger still, so I don't know if that conversation
You see
was
what I like
the
as
one
well?
before.
From now to
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to IT.
The training comes from young, and the training comes from the mindset. You know, if you have a young person who they believe that a road is their road or their postcode, and they're going to kill a person who wears a different type of clothing or from another kind of postcode, that's the value system in their mindset. That person could be a soldier defending black people from racism.
so it goes to what they're learning.
You see what I'm saying? If they want, you know, they could be defending black people from being oppressed. You know what I mean? They could be dedicated in helping black people get to the next step. But somewhere along the line, they've been pushed to do this kind of thing. So that's why we educate young. But then it comes down to the partnerships and how black people treat their wives and how wives treat their husbands and how they raise their children. It's a full holistic kind of thing. Like I said, I haven't seen any other people group go through what black people's gone through.
But you know what my thing is?